Today's podcast is brought to you by Visa. With the capacity to process over 65,000 transaction messages every second, Visa has been bringing innovations to the way we pay for over 60 years. Imagine a world where instead of just tapping to pay with your Visa, you had to wait for everyone in front of you to cut a check everywhere you went. Imagine how much fun it'd be trying to track down your cousin in Milwaukee for league dues. That's why Visa's vision is to be the best way to pay and be paid everywhere, so you won't have to. Whatever your goals are, Visa makes paying fast and easy. The only thing left to figure out is, where would you like to be? Visa, everywhere you want to be. Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Today?
Good.
To see you.
I'm good.
Yeah.
How's
I'm so
everyone
happy
else
about
doing?
it.
Oh, it's a great day to be alive.
Really?
Yeah.
Great day for me to be alive on Friday. We picked 3 games that day on Friday's show, and let's see, I went 3-0, and Shannon Sharpe, the Hall of Famer, went 0-3 and lost another case of due to me on the Eagles.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Eagles could lose, but guess what, Skip? You wanted Russ to do your dirty bidding.
Yeah, and
but
he did.
And what did you do?
Yeah. What did I do?
Yeah, what did your team do?
Oh, well, we lost to the best team in football.
We're going to get to it. You brought up the Eagles. I want to know if Shannon still likes their chances, to win the NFC East right now with Carson Wentz and is Aaron Rodgers to blame for the Packers blowout last night. But first, we got to dive into the Cowboys and the Patriots. It was a rainy, windy, and cold day yesterday in Foxborough in a low-scoring game. Tom Brady had a touchdown and just under 200 yards, while Ezekiel Elliott racked up 86 yards with no touchdowns, and Dak Prescott had just over 200 yards and a pick. Trailing the entire game, the Cowboys were down 4 with the ball, but on 3rd and 1, a tripping call negated a huge first down for Dallas. The Cowboys would end up turning it over on downs and losing this one 13-9. And after the game, Jerry Jones expressed some major frustration with his team. So this one, Skip, I got to start with you. What is the biggest reason the Cowboys lost?
First of all, bottom line, nobody is going to beat Tom Brady in that stadium, Gillette Stadium, in a game-long driving rain with wind gusting to 30 miles an hour and temperatures dropping into the mid-30s. That is Tom Brady weather. And for the longest time, it did not look like Dak Prescott weather because it took him all the way to nearly halftime to figure out, oh, gee, I've never been in weather like this before, this cold and this wet. Maybe I should try a glove on my throwing hand.
Oh, yeah.
But he did put one on. And in the second half, believe it or not, my quarterback, Dak Prescott, started to look like the guy who came in leading the whole league in passing. My quarterback started to literally get a grip on the game and how to go at the New England defense. And would you believe that in the fourth quarter, when he finally did have the win behind him, my quarterback threw for 110 yards in the fourth quarter. That's pretty great against the
212 for the whole game.
Oh, but 110 in the fourth quarter with the wind. I'd say that's pretty great against the best defense in pro football in their house. And with 2:33 left, Dak Prescott got the ball back, albeit backed all the way up to his 8-yard line, but here he came again, just like he came against Jenny's Vikings. Remember that night when he started at the 6-yard line, and he went all the way to the Vikings' 11-yard line. And I'm going to remind everybody, my quarterback over his first 3 years in this league led the National Football League in game-winning drives. So here he came. Right out of the box, he hits Randall Cobb for 18 yards. Another big play to Randall Cobb. And then on second down, he hit Jason Witten for what should have been 10 or 12-yard gain. And what did he do, Mr. Sharpe, Hall of Fame tight end?
I don't know.
He dropped it. Jason Witten dropped another ball that could have been huge, just a momentum builder, but he dropped it. But did Dak give up? Nope. Here he came right back again with another big throw to Gallup for 9 more yards. Now it's 3rd and 1. And what did he do, Mr. Sharpe? He hit his man Zeke with a little 3-yard out. That was slick little pass for a first down. Oh, but wait, I see on my screen on Fox, I see the yellow flag. Oh. What? Flag for what? Wait. Tripping? What do you mean tripping? Let me see the replay. Let me see it again. Let me see another replay because it's the biggest phantom call I've ever seen. It's not even remotely tripping to the point that I started to wonder if maybe one of Belichick's many sons, he's got a whole bunch of sons working in the organization, somehow masqueraded as a referee and threw the phantom flag. I don't know. Have you ever seen a worse call? Have you ever seen a more mind-blowing, head-scratching, that's not tripping call? Dante Hightower's just blowing through the middle of the line, and Travis Frederick's backing up, trying to just push him into the ground and then kind of lay on top of him. It's not tripping. It is an egregious, momentum-crushing penalty called in the middle of what felt like a pretty special drive.
To your point, Skip, what this tells me, because they got 2 of those calls, that the Patriots staff brought this to the officials' attention.
It's highly possible because in 190 games so far this year, there had been 7 of those trippings called. And in this game, they called 2, one on Tyron Smith in the first quarter, and I couldn't see that one either.
They ran a game, and he got caught off balance, and his leg got up in the air. Tripping is an intentional act. He didn't intentionally try to chip the guy. He got caught off balance when they ran the stunt.
Did he lift his leg up to stop the momentum of someone that had beaten him? No, he did not. Did he trip Dante? No, he just fell forward. I'm sorry. It's such a bad call, and it's such a momentum breaker at that point. But did Dak give up? No, he did not. So it gets to be 4th and 11, and Dak steps into the best throw of the night to me. Best throw he made. 2, oh, wait, who's that guy? Oh, yeah, he's number 19. Amari Cooper at that point had no catches. And guess what, boys and girls? He still has no catches for the whole game. Was this going to be a difficult catch? Well, I remind you, coming into the game, Pro Football Focus graded Amari Cooper as the number 1 wide receiver in all of pro football.
Lies.
And, after last night, I'm going to grade Stephon Gilmore as by far the best shutdown corner in all of pro football because he absolutely bullied Amari Cooper. He made him look soft. He made him say no mas, as in Roberto Duran, no mas. I give up. There's even one series late in the first half. Amari just took himself out of the game and went and stood on the sideline because he said, I just can't get open against this guy.
The cuffs.
Whoa. Put the cuffs on him.
That's hard.
But he didn't just put his cuffs on him physically. He put them on him mentally, psychologically, emotionally. Just took him out of the game. So was this a tough catch to make on 4th and 11?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a difficult catch. But if you're graded number 1 by Pro Football Focus, can you make that? Yes, you can make that catch. If by his degree of difficulty, it is not that hard. Again, ball's wet, I get all that, but at some point, you just got to make a play. If you're that guy, you make that play.
Well, you should ask that of your quarterback.
Your quarterback made that throw. That was a hell of a throw.
Oh, so we're going to come down to one, we're going to make it come down to 1 throw.
Well,
so yeah,
that would have set him up in real business. But instead, you know the rest of the story.
I do.
And I'm left with yet another so close, so far away game. And my team has fallen to 6-5. And I'm not going to take a moral victory over this, but I will tell you this. The team that I watched play last night would have beaten the New England Patriots on a dry night. They would have beaten Tom Brady and company on a dry night.
Skip, you do know, I don't know if you remember this, but about 13 years ago, maybe 14 years, 13 years ago, The Super Bowl was played in Miami between the Indianapolis Colts and the Chicago Bears. And a funny thing happened during the entire game, Jenny. It rained. So there's a possibility that if you make it that far, there's also a possibility, guess what, Skip? You might have to go to Green Bay. What is the weather like in Green Bay in January?
It's not going to rain, I can tell you that.
So it might snow or be cold.
Good sleep.
How'd you do?
Snow is much easier to throw in than rain.
First of all. And then what about San Francisco? Does it ever rain in Northern California? I'm not sure, Skip. You spend a little time up there. Does it rain in Southern California?
It's not that often that it does, but go ahead.
The fact of the matter, hold on. I want to take these things because you said Pro Football Focus said that Amari Cooper is the number 1 rated receiver. Pro Football Focus also said that number 1 in QBR is Dak Prescott.
They didn't say that.
Whoa.
That was just QBR.
Okay, he was.
Yep.
Tell the people at home what he is now.
He's third.
What?
Barely third.
Barely. I'm just trying to figure out how do you go into the game number 1 and you leave number 3? But that's neither here nor there. We'll get that a little later.
Well, it's hard to throw in the wet wind.
Hold on. Was Tom Brady playing in the phone booth?
He's made for this. He was born to play in this. He owns these weather conditions. You know it and I know it. He's been doing this for 20 years.
Thrive in this moment. You're right.
When you was talking, I didn't interrupt you. I was like, go ahead.
You just asked me a question.
I just asked.
You said, what is he in QBR? And I just told you.
Okay, but I don't need you to expand upon that. It's my turn now. Okay, yards per attempt. Passing yards per game, and that's what he gave me. Again, meaningless ball game, your team, your quarterback thrives, beating Washington, beating the Dolphins, beating the Giants twice. But when a team with a winning record, what's their record, Skip? 0 for whatever.
Well,
Skip, this is the second
you
time.
picked him to win. I don't know. I didn't pick him. I picked New England.
Whoa, time out.
Yep.
I'm not going to let you do semantics like you picked him to win.
That's not semantics. That's a fact.
Hold on. If that's the
cold, hard fact.
Okay. I picked them to win.
Yep.
So why the hell you so upset? Your team won. You picked the Patriots, and you giving me all the reasons why the Cowboys lost. Why are you doing that? Because they hurt you, and you trying to shift the narrative. But I won't let you. I'm not gonna let you, Skip Bayless, because you know what? You had every opportunity.
Tripping penalty is every opportunity.
Whoa. My guy was about to get on the. Hold on, get on about what?
It felt special.
Skip, they punted the ball 11 times. Now this is the second time in 11 weeks that defense has given up 10 or fewer points in your guy. Now, I don't want any more articles. I don't want Todd Archer. I don't want Bill Barnwell. I don't want Clarence Hill Jr. to write another article about Dak Prescott because in meaningless ball games, he's lighting it up. And when it comes to the Vikings, when it came to yesterday.
Time out. Was the Eagles a meaningless ball?
Whoa, it's not your turn. I'm going to let you, I'm going to shoot it back to you.
You love Carson Wentz.
I'm going to shoot it back to you. But guess what? I found a guy yesterday played just as bad as walking to him. And his name was Dak Prescott. And he was a little further north than what walking to him was playing.
Was it raining in Philadelphia?
Nope. What was the weather?
It looked nice.
The wind was blowing about 40, about 30.
It was not. It was not.
Oh,
sorry.
So it's ideal conditions.
It wasn't ideal.
Okay. Anyway, hold on. If you play football, what the hell you think this is, a gymnasium? Every game might be wind, snow, rain, sleet, sunshine, but you play outdoors. So I don't do it. Skip, I told you I had to get out of the excuse-making business because people they didn't want to buy them anymore. They said, if you play pro sports, I'm tired of all these excuses, Shannon. So I said, okay, I got dubs and L's. And guess who came? Oh, they came to see me. I told you, I had that old good old chowder. L for Dak Prescott, Skip Bayless.
Warm them up.
Wait, I got to get this straight. So now your restaurant serves only losers.
Right?
Yeah. That's a new thing.
Look, I got two areas. I got a little small little storefront. I only got like 1,500 square feet. Do you know what property costs like in this area to get a big old restaurant? So I got a little.
And that's why it's moved about 4 times, right?
Yeah, pop-up shop.
Moving.
And so, I got a patio because everybody got to have a patio you in L.A.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had this old pop-up shop that serves chowder. Skip Bayless, at some point in time, you're going to realize everybody keeps telling you about Dak, but if Dak is what you said he is, the weather should not be an issue. I told you this game was tailor-made for old Ezekiel Elliott. But y'all didn't want to do it. Oh, no, why you running, Zeke? Jerry, stop it. That's what you came out here and said last week. You remember? You don't want to run it on first down. But if you put the ball in 21's hand yesterday, he'd have brought you home. But you put it in 4 hands, and now you're going back with your tail between your legs, and now your owner is talking crazy again.
Quick point of order. I know you don't listen to the sound.
I do not.
The great Joe Buck and the great Troy Aikman made a point during the Fox telecast that in speaking with Belichick the day before, they got the feeling that Belichick was far more concerned about stopping the pass than he was about stopping the run, that he seemed unconcerned about stopping Zeke Elliott because everybody has been stopping Zeke Elliott. I will give you, he ran harder and better yesterday than I have seen him all year long.
Well, feed him, Skip. Feed him.
My quarterback threw for 110 in the fourth quarter. That's how you come back on Tom Brady. If you give Tom Brady a lead at Gillette Stadium, he's 105-1. 105-1, and he would be 106-0, except that Belichick's defense fell apart in that home opener against Alex Smith and the Kansas City Chiefs going back to 2017. They led that 17-14 at halftime and lost 42-27.
Okay. This is what I'm going to promise you at the beginning of the season, and this is what I'm going to promise you the week before. Your defense would allow Tom Brady to have 190 passing yards. He will throw 1 touchdown, and we're only going to give up 13 points. Do you take it or you leave it?
If you tell me that it's a driving rain all game long with 30-mile-an-hour winds, I will take it and run with it. Because speaking of the great Troy Aikman, I covered him when he played pro football. He now resides along with you in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I would
Thank
agree.
you. Troy Aikman, to save his life, could not throw a wet football because it gets heavy and it gets slick, and he just could not grip the ball.
Yeah, most quarterbacks don't like playing that.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, he said yesterday during the telecast late in the second quarter, if we could hear this, I think we have the Troy Aikman sound on this, what he said about throwing a wet football.
Troy, I had actually heard from a little birdie that works with the Dallas Cowboys when you played back when there was rain potentially in the forecast. I mean, nobody would sleep in the organization because you were so worried about it.
Well, if they couldn't sleep, you can imagine how little sleep I got. I had no chance in conditions like this.
So Troy Aikman says, I had no chance in conditions like this. And you're saying, Dak Prescott, if he's that guy, he should just suck it up and play rain.
Hold on. Whoa.
There we go.
Hold on.
Boom.
Hold on.
Touche.
Hold on, Skip.
Game
Hold
over.
on. Who wrote the article? That what Dak Prescott doing, Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman, Tony Romo, none of them can touch it.
Well, those were stats.
Yeah,
those are stats.
Now they're
Thank
just
you
stats.
very much.
But you harp on those stats, Skip.
Okay, so I'm going to give you this. Dak Prescott had 2 soirees into the red zone.
And what happened?
And you have to cash one, albeit against a defense that is number 1 in the league on third down. So it's hard to convert against them. They just don't give up red zone touchdowns. But the first time happened late in the first half. And they got it all the way down to 1st and 10 at the New England 14. And they gave it to your man, Ezekiel Elliott. He got 3. Not bad. It wasn't a bad run, but he got 3. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. It looked like Zeke waved out, but he went straight to the sideline. I don't know why. And he took it, they put a coat on him, and he stood like, I'm going to watch the rest of this. And my man, little Tony Pollard, comes in.
And what happened?
And all of a sudden, first play is just a little dink pass over the middle. It's a check down pass, and they're all over him and break it up. And then on third down, they throw a screen pass to Tony Pollard that goes for all of 2 yards.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I don't know. So where's Zeke? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if he took himself out or if they took him out.
Hold on, time out. I just read an article last week that the Cowboys' offense is more explosive with Tony Pollard in it. Somebody just wrote an article. You keep telling me Tony Pollard is more explosive.
No, they were 6-0 when he plays at least 12 snaps.
Okay. And so Zeke says, you know what I'm going to do? I read that article. I'm going to go get me one of these old jackets. I'm going to get warm right quick. Hey, Tony, you up?
Okay, well, he may have. It looked like he went right out of the game.
What happened?
Like he was ready to go out of the game.
Here's the thing. You keep telling me about how good the Patriots are on third down and their red zone defense. If Dak is that guy, if Dak is that dude, he's got to bring this home. So don't tell me, Skip. See, now when you played Miami, And when you played Washington and you played the Giants, everybody's telling you about how good Dak is. I need him to beat a good team.
Okay, so here we go again. Second soiree into the red zone comes early in the fourth quarter after he'd hit Randall Cobb for 47 yards. And if Randall Cobb was a little bit faster, he might have scored on that play, but he's a slot receiver.
The injury, Skip, doesn't do nothing, rob him of the breakaway speed.
He's not that guy anymore. But there he goes. Go, Randall, go. Oh, I thought for a second he was just gone.
No, you did.
And if he'd been gone, we'd be having a different conversation.
No, you did think.
I did. For about 1 second, I thought he's going to turn the corner and be gone.
If he was Tyreek Hill or Julio, maybe.
Okay. So
not Randall.
They get the ball all the way down to 1st and 10 once again at the 14. And on the first play of this little soiree, they run a college wishbone option left that they haven't run all year, where you go all the way to read the defensive end and then either pitch it or keep it. And at the last second, he pitches it to Zeke, and it doesn't go very far. Okay, he's lucky they kept the ball.
Because you see that corner, Skip, that corner there in cover 2, you see that corner forcing this?
Do I love the call? I do not love the call into the near side of the field. So now it's 2nd and 7 from the 11. And here's the play of the game to me. He bolts right, Dak does, from the pocket, and actually makes a very good on-the-run throw to your man, Jason Witten. And it looks like it's got a chance because he's got Patrick Chung on his backside. He shielded off Patrick Chung, but guess who makes the play of the game?
Stephon Gilmore.
So not only does he take Amari Cooper out of the game, he comes off Amari Cooper to dive, and he has to flat out dive to nick this ball and knock it away.
You know why Stephon Gilmore knocked that play down? Because he can't throw no look like my homeboy. See, my homeboy would have stared down Amari Cooper, threw it to the sidearm, and you'd have had a touchdown. See, that's why you do things like that, Skip.
Okay, so then on 3rd down, it's 3rd and 7. He rolls to his left as Dak Prescott. Here's the one again.
Yep.
That was a heck of a
That'd have been a touchdown by my homeboy, though.
Yeah, well, I think it was about to be a touchdown by Dak. This time he goes left, bolting the pocket, and throws crossbody to Blake Jarwin, who Dak Prescott says just might be the best athlete on our team, and Blake Jarwin cannot get his feet down. And it's possible you could have gotten your feet down on this play. It's possible if you had better presence. But guess what Blake Jarwin was doing before the ball was snapped? He was looking up at Dak going like this, like, I don't know what I'm doing. It looked like, what am I supposed to do? I think he just sort of freelanced a route. I think he didn't know what the play was.
Yeah, you know why? Because he body caught it. Now, if he goes up there and catches the ball with his hands, now
Because you got to focus on where again, did the ball, because you're throwing with the wind, did it sail just a touch? It sailed just a touch, but would Shannon Sharpe have made that play? He just might have made that play.
How did you plug the guy both feet down?
Yeah. No denying that.
So, again,
put the ball behind my back.
I'll give you this. My quarterback didn't make either one of those plays, although both had a chance.
The quarterback made no plays. Stop talking about him making any one of those. No, he didn't.
Threw for 110 on the
Zero touchdowns.
Really good.
Skip Bayless, you do know 0 touchdowns is not good.
So now it's 4th and 7 at the 11, and this is just me. I know Troy Aikman had an issue with this, but I did not have an issue. I'm kicking the field goal because with 6:04 left in the game, I'm going to play to win the game. I'm going to take the points and just say, I can still bring it down and score on you. And if I come down and score, it's not going to be 13-all. We're going to win the game. So let's take the points. Okay? So I was just fine with that. And again, they did have one more chance when the tripping penalty had. They had the ball back.
You had no chance.
Okay.
Skip Bayless. Well, if you thought for that, hold on. You had 58.5 minutes to move the ball up and down the field and get the ball in the end zone. And you thought the last minute and a half against that defense, Dak Prescott was going to get the ball in the end zone?
I did until the tripping penalty. It felt special to me. Felt like it had comeback written all over it. It felt like it had 105-2 written all over it, as in Brady led at halftime.
The man to tell you, the man to bring them kind of packages up there to your neck of the woods. Normally I have to go down, to get my packages.
Do you?
He coming up there to get, because if you thought, you must have been on something if you thought that was going to drive down the field in a minute and a half.
I do. I live in the flats. You live up in Bell.
Wishful thinking. Brady, though, 5-0 against the Cowboys. So
5-0, Skip.
So here's my biggest takeaway. In the end, my team is still a game up in the NFC East. And the prelude, the warm-up act for this game featured your Eagles losing another game at home, this one to Russell Wilson, who didn't play all that well in this game. We're about to talk about that in a few minutes. But the point was, Carson Wentz was a disaster. So do you really think, even though the Eagles play the easiest closing schedule in football, do you really think they can win out? Because I don't. It didn't look like
I don't think the Cowboys going to win out either.
Yeah.
And they've got a short week as well. Does that worry you at all, Skip?
Nope. They will beat Buffalo. And you know what? I'm going to say right here, right now, I think my team is going to win out. Okay. I do. I think they're going to go 11-5. Well, they're going to break through and break out. They can beat Buffalo. They can win at Chicago.
They can beat everybody on their roster.
They can beat the Rams. They can win at Philly. They can beat Washington at home. That's what I think will happen.
Well, we heard it here first. The 49ers defense was just too much to handle for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers last night. Rodgers went 20 for 33 and had only 104 yards with a touchdown. The Niners defense also sacked Rodgers 5 times and forced a fumble. And after the game, Rodgers said, quote, "There wasn't a whole lot of positive tonight." You can say that again. Shannon, how much blame does Aaron Rodgers deserve?
He deserves the lion's share of the blame because he didn't play particularly well. And when things and for the for Aaron Rodgers, I believe he's a transcendent figure, a great thrower of the football. When he doesn't play well, it's almost impossible for them to win. And he played awful yesterday, and I think the 49ers contributed to that. Skip, that D-line is for real. Those 4 first-rounders that they got, they've done a great job. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, the general managers have done a great job of building this football team. They will get after you, and they don't have to blitz much because they got 4 guys that can get home on any given snap. And so now you can play coverage on the back end. Kyle Shanahan is as good an offensive mind, Skip, as we have in the NFL. The plays that he comes up with, and when you look at him, and I still feel, Skip, if the 49ers are to go far, if Jimmy Garoppolo does not get in the way, it's going to be tough for someone to go into their building and beat them. But back to Aaron Rodgers, Skip, he didn't have a whole lot of time. They couldn't run the football. So now, and once a team figure out that you can't run the football, the way they play the game now, Skip, we're going to tackle the running back on the way to the quarterback. Meaning that if you hand him the ball, okay, we'll tackle him. But we want you to know we're coming to get you. You are the leader of this snake. We're coming for your head. And Bosa and Armstead and those guys were relentless. They got a 6th-round draft pick, Jones, I forget his first name, Skip. That little rascal, boy, they couldn't do anything with him, Skip. I mean, he was collapsing the pocket, and now all of a sudden he's pushing the center back into the backfield. The back have to change direction. They tackle him for a 2-3-yard loss. So now they're constantly playing behind the sticks. So now we know you got to throw the football, and they just kept coming. But this is why I don't like QBR. Can you tell me how? Jimmy Garoppolo was 14 of 20, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had an 18 QBR. Let that sink in.
Oh, surprisingly.
Let that sink in. Now, Carson Wentz, with the day he had, was only 9 lower than Jimmy Garoppolo. If anybody want to put some stock in QBR, have at it. But Skip Bayless.
What did Aaron Rodgers have? Help me out.
He had a 9.
I have to look. Oh, a 9.
He had a 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he had a 9.
So do you think that was accurate, the 9?
Skip, I don't get. Skip, I've given up. Skip, I've given up trying to calculate QBR because I really don't understand it. Because I understand they weight it for interceptions when you throw it, you fumble, yada yada yada, legs into a play. But I tell you what, this 49ers team. Now you can mess around, Skip, if you want to, and think you're gonna go out there with with your quarterback, that kind of performance you put up yesterday. Somebody's gonna get hurt. This team's for real. Yeah. And if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't go out there, now he's capable of doing Garoppoloian type things. Because we've seen him have some games. You're like, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. If you just don't mess this up, this is a great dish. Just don't mess it up, Jimmy. As a matter of fact, Kyle Shanahan said that all I need you to do is just set the table. I'm gonna go prepare this meal. Everything's gonna be ready. Just set the table. But Aaron Rodgers, Skip, they made him look mortal. They made him look very average, very pedestrian.
Interesting you say that because the truth is, over the last 4 years, just about everybody's been making him look mortal and pedestrian and average. His QBR, and I know you don't have any respect for it, but it has dropped each of the last 4 seasons, and now it's dropped all the way to the 18th worst QBR in pro football. 53, so he's around average, but he ranks 18th in the league in QBR. And his completion percentage has dropped each of the last 3 years, and this year he ranks 17th in the NFL in completion percentage. Those are not transcendent numbers. I don't know how you can keep perpetrating the myth of Aaron Rodgers because it's been eons since he won his one and only Super Bowl appearance.
So if we go to base it on stats, though, Skip,
well,
how is Brady's stats looking this year?
Well, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Okay,
right?
okay.
Didn't Tom Brady win the last Super Bowl? I think he did.
I'm just saying his numbers. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers' numbers.
Well, I'm just saying that the Aarons have plummeted each of the last 4 years, and they don't have the look of a team that can go far in the playoffs because we just saw them 3 weeks ago get dismantled by the Los Angeles Chargers, 26-11.
Well, maybe they need to stay out of California then. How about that?
What is up with their struggles in California?
I don't know, because Aaron Rodgers had a QBR in that game of 14, so he had a 14 in that one and a 9 in this one.
Should be easy here.
Ooh. So I'm starting to wonder whatever happened to Aaron Rodgers? Seriously, because I know their record still looks very good, and they have the tiebreaker because they beat the Vikings, so they're still technically in
first place. And they beat the Cowboys.
Well, they'll meet again, though, Week 16 in Minnesota.
But that was Aaron Jones's game, not Aaron Rodgers'
Don't do that, Skip. See, you see what you do. Okay, with this Aaron Jones's game, he didn't do it very much, so I put it on him.
Okay, so this was an all-time disaster, and I'm going to give you this. The 49ers are starting to have that look of the out-of-the-blue Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
That suddenly, before you know what hit you,
they got hot.
They got home field advantage, and they win 2 home games to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's what they're starting to look like. Their schedule gets nothing but tougher, so I'm going to reserve the right to stamp them as a Super Bowl team because I'm not sold on Jimmy G because he will throw it to you when you least expect it.
And fumble it to you.
And they got off hot last night because your man Aaron Rodgers, sack, fumble, returned, touchdown, and it went wrong from the get-go. He got sacked 5 times. He wound up with a grand total of 104 yards passing. When he left the game, his team, his offense, was 0 for 13 on third down. Are you believing that? The transcendent thrower of the football, the greatest thrower of the football ever, was 0 for 13 on third down in a big Sunday night national TV game. And I'm sitting back thinking, you know what? Mr. Rodgers could have done better than that. Mr. Rodgers, right?
Yeah.
And the Tom Hanks movie is about to...
Did you guys see that yet?
It's out.
Yeah.
I want to go see it. It looks good.
Yeah. So, way to go, Mr. Rodgers. I had to get that plug in for
I thought that was
Tom
good.
Hanks. But the point is that you're even forgetting that there was another big national TV game at Lambeau featuring the Philadelphia Eagles. And what did Aaron Rodgers do on the final play of the game?
Oh, my God.
He failed to see Darius Shepard all alone over in the flank of the end zone, over in the right side of the end zone, and he tries to force it to Valdez-Scantling, double covered because the Eagles had blown the coverage on Darius Shepard, and it gets popped up in the air for a game-ending interception. Aaron Rodgers killed my Dallas Cowboys twice because his team beat my Cowboys.
Yeah, but you gotta stop.
But that was a killer for me because the Eagles deserved to lose that game. They did. They deserved to lose.
We got to look at this. We can't look at this through the eyes of what's going to most benefit the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I do. So you can do whatever you want to do.
I know.
But I'm just showing you that was another game that Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he threw for 422.
I mean, you got to close that deal.
He threw for 422.
I know, but you missed the easiest read of the game. He's wide open. His guy goes with Valdez-Scantling because he wasn't supposed to go with Valdez-Scantling. So the little rookie from North Dakota State is just standing over there saying, Aaron, underhand it to me.
The thing is that when you play a team like the 49ers, you can ill afford to fall behind like they fell behind. That game gets to be what, 23 nothing at one point. And so now, Skip, they don't even care about the run. They're coming after your quarterback. And now once Bulaga goes out, you bring a backup in. Now it's a feeding frenzy. You see the guys, now Nick Bosa's like, let me rush on the left side. And the Armstead said, well, I want a piece of him too. Everybody wants to take turn because they know he's the weak link. And so now now it's a feeding frenzy, Skip, and now they keep coming because they know you're not going to run the football. You can't run your way back into the ball game. You're down 23 nothing. All of a sudden you're down 30-8. What do you got to do? You got to throw. They know you got to throw, and now they just tighten the coverage. Now they just they won't let you go. It's kind of like a constrictor. The more you move, the tighter they get. Well, we know you're dropping back the pass, and we just gonna come. And Salah, the D coordinator, he's got them playing. Kyle Shanahan, I dare you to find me 3 guys in all the NFL that's a better offensive mind than him. And I want you to include Sean Payton. I want you to include McDaniels. I want you to include Sean McVay. Now that he got that George Kittle, I love Travis Kelce, but it's hard for me to say Kelce's better than this kid is right now. This kid can do it all.
He can block.
He can block. He can run, Skip. And when he gets and Kyle has done a great job of diagramming ways on the touchdown. Normally, Skip, when you run the boot and he's on the side, the front side to where they're faking the ball, you run the angle cross. But what they did is they put him on a post, but you got to sell the out route. The DB knows, like, I'm vulnerable to the 7 route. He jumps to 7. He comes back to the post. He's wide open, races him to the corner. Kyle Shanahan in the running game, the way he can get Coleman, the way he can get Brady, and got this one guy, Skip, they said he played 1 snap last week and came in and caught the game-winning touchdown against the Cards. Put him in again, and now he picks up 15 yards on 1 carry. When you start playing like this, Skip, guys start getting more confidence because they say, I want to be a part of this. And if I do well, coach is going to call my number. They're going to be tough out. But Aaron...
And by the way, they got their tight end in the 5th round out of Iowa. 5th round? That's almost Shannon Sharpe-esque.
I don't know what's going on with these guys from Iowa because they got Hawkinson and they got Noah Fant and they got this kid. Yeah, Iowa got a little pipeline out there, huh, Skip?
Well, all I know is, bottom line, Aaron Rodgers proves once again why he is the LeBron James of the National Football League, the most overprotected superstar in all the league, because he just keeps...
What is Dak Prescott?
Keeps stinking it up.
What is Dak Prescott?
Nobody ever said he's the greatest thrower.
My guy, your guy. What has your guy done?
So all you got to, you're only out on Aaron Rodgers to say, what about Dak Prescott? What about Aaron Rodgers? You said he's transcendent.
Yeah, he didn't play. Hold on. And that's what I tell you. Great players can have bad games at times. He had a bad game.
Want to know the truth? He's descendant now. He is descendant because he is descending year after year after year. But overprotected. He can do no wrong.
If your guy can be half as good as Aaron Rodgers, he's had an unbelievable career. Just half.
That's all you got.
Are you ready for what's ahead? You can't always predict the future, but you can game plan for it. Generations of families and businesses have harnessed the power of Pacific to help them reach their unique goals. Whether you need to save enough money to meet your needs, ensure your family is protected, or make sure you don't run out of money, Pacific Life has a variety of financial solutions that can help. Pacific Life counts more than half of the 100 largest U.S. companies as its clients and has been named one of the 2019 World's Most Ethical Companies by the Ethisphere Institute, protecting what matters most to people for 150 years and counting. That's the power of Pacific. Ask a financial professional about how Pacific Life can help you game plan for your future, or visit www.pacificlife.com.
No mercy. Dak, he played in about the worst conditions possible. The Cowboys trailed the Patriots all game yesterday and failed to reach the end zone even once. After the game, Jerry Jones said the loss was a, quote, significant setback. Jerry was also very critical of the Cowboys coaching staff. Take a listen.
Kind of understand that when you're on a sloppy day, special teams can rule the day. And they've got a coach that knows how to play this game. I don't think there's a game that a coaching staff has areas that it couldn't do better in. And I just don't like it that we've got so many as I'm standing here tonight. But again, we've got a long way to go. And today and a couple of these other games, we with the makeup of this team, I shouldn't be this frustrated.
Ooh, all right, Skip, how hot is Jason Garrett's seat right now?
Go, Jerry, go.
No, not go, Jerry, go.
Woo.
He just heated up Jason Garrett's seat for the first time in a long, long time, maybe ever. That's as critical as I've heard Jerry pinpoint it on the coaching staff, read Jason Garrett. And I was so happy because I feared Jerry would take the easy way out, the moral victory way out, and say, hey, conditions were tough out there, and we hung in to the last drop with the defending champs and the team that's playing the best right now and the great coach and the great quarterback, blah, 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 blah. I was afraid that's what we would get. but instead he turned up the heat. And this is where I get conflicted as a Dallas Cowboy fan. And I've told you this before, and now it's worse than ever. Because I believe if the Cowboys miss the playoffs, Jason Garrett is gone. So now it puts me in the awkward position of almost having to hope they miss the playoffs to get rid of Coach Clapp. And I don't want them to miss the playoffs because I'm going to lose a bunch of due to you if they do. So here's the worst case scenario is that they eke into the playoffs, and the way this division is going, they might be 8-8 and win the division. And if they do, they're going to get a home playoff game. As it stands right now, it would be Seattle again.
Right.
And what if this time they don't beat Russell Wilson and company? What if they get embarrassed by Russell Wilson and company in a get-back game, a get-even game, and Jason Garrett survives because they, quote-unquote, made the playoffs by backing into the division?
Do you believe Garrett can keep his job if he doesn't get to the NFC Championship game or at least the Super Bowl?
Well, all I know for sure is he has to at least make the playoffs.
Okay.
I think if he does, it's going to be hard because Jerry still loves him like a son.
No.
And I think Jerry would rationalize it.
You know what Jerry loves.
But I think yesterday was about 3 developments to me. And the first one was Ian Rappaport's NFL Network report of yesterday afternoon, or yesterday morning, actually, that basically said that people close to Jason Garrett are saying that if he does get fired, that he has his eye on the division rival New York Football Giants. And trust me, I know Jerry real well, and that report would stick in Jerry's craw.
Yep.
Oh, so on the verge of our biggest game of the year at New England, a story is out there about you got your eye on the Giants?
Yeah.
That would rub Jerry the wrong way. That's why he turned up the heat.
Did it rub him the wrong way at the combine that he said he wasn't going to give Jason Garrett a contract extension?
Well,
did that rub him the wrong way?
Well, good.
Actions have consequences.
Good. I like it. So I also think that Jerry is now seeing the light on Jason's biggest flaw, and that is his inability to motivate his football team. What happened again yesterday for the 8th time in 11 games? Help me out here. They fell behind from the get-go. That's what they always do. They fall behind. They don't take it to the team except for the Eagles in that one big Sunday night home game. That's the only time they really took it to what looked like at the time a good football team. So I think Jerry decided, circumstances are getting a little dire here. We have to get ready in 3 days for Buffalo. Buffalo's a good football team, especially on defense. They're a good football. What are they up to, 8-3 now?
Yeah.
And little Cole Beasley had 6 catches for 76 yards. Trust me, he's going to come back with a vengeance.
And Josh Allen played well yesterday.
He played very well, and he seems to be getting a little better. And we know he can run it if he can't throw it.
I was about to say, Skip, he's way, because you look at a kid that size, you don't think Plus,
okay,
you don't think he'd be mobile.
Okay, but again, dangerous opponent on Thanksgiving Day, even though Cowboys usually play pretty well on Thanksgiving. But in this case, I think Jerry finally said, I got to light a fire in the locker room that my coach cannot. Okay. And then what did he see yesterday from Bill Belichick's coaching staff that he didn't see from his? He saw a whole bunch of things. He saw a blocked punt. He saw 3 kickoff returns in which New England was kicking into the wind, in which Tony Pollard camped back on the goal line, and all 3 fell on the 15 to 20-yard line. Well, it's just stupid. Yeah. And Troy Aikman said, way to go, Troy, on Fox. That's just poor coaching. Yeah. Because it just is.
Yeah.
And he also said...
In a situation like that, you put your heels on the 10.
Yeah, come on.
If it goes over your head, it's in the end zone, you're down it.
You can't...
But you can't let the ball hit the...
Yeah. It's the old Cowboy draft pick who's 35 years old.
You don't have that kind of leg.
Although I think the other kid, now that I think about it, he kicked off. The other kid kicked off. But whatever. The point is that in the end, they had back-to-back penalties on a punt because New England buffaloed them by the way they lined up on the punt. Remember, they didn't put anybody back. And all of a sudden, they got to delay a game because they didn't know how to respond to it. And then they got a motion penalty, and they get pushed back, and that set up the block punt. Well, Jerry said him there. He's not stupid. He was all Southwest Conference as a guard at Arkansas. And he's like, this looks like poor coaching versus the best coaching.
Right.
So then he said, you know what? I'm taking the gloves off in the postgame. I'm going to let him have it. And he did.
Yeah. The man said that when you come here, you already expect to get out coach. Mm-hmm. How the hell that make your coach feel? That's like
he should.
Hold on. If I'm a player and my coach say, yeah, we're going to New England, but we already expect to get outplayed. What the hell are we going for then? If that was the case, why didn't you go ahead and remove him? Because, see, Jerry, all of this is on Jerry. Now, we can make it about Jason Garrett because he's the head coach, and people want to put that, but this is about Jerry. Because what Jerry wants is power. Jerry, can you imagine Miss Benson, Gail Benson, the owner of the Saints, saying something like this about Sean Payton?
Oh.
Can you imagine the Rooneys, who've been in coaching a lot longer, ownership a lot longer than Jerry, saying something about this? About Mike Tomlin? You see what Jerry wants is power. Jerry wants the ability to go and come and talk however he wants to, when he wants to. But there are ramifications for that. You got to get a guy that's willing to swallow his pride and ego. And the one thing I know about great players, great coaches, great anything, they got hella pride. They got hella ego. And I bet, you think Sean Payton would go for that, Skip Bayless? Honestly, you know Sean Payton. You know not one time would he go for this.
He would be on the warpath. He might not do it publicly, but he would do it privately.
Interesting.
And that's Jerry's problem, Skip. You can't keep saying, it started last year in Houston. Oh, he should have went for it on 4th down. And now every time you turn around, Jason Garrett is going against his coaching philosophy, going for it on 4th down, because he knows no matter what happens, if they don't win the game, he's going to get second guess to high heaven. Jerry Jones is responsible for the mess that the Cowboys are in because all he does is undermine his head coach. His head coach is nothing but a figurehead. All he has the ability to do. You call him Coach Clapp because that's all Jerry has allowed him to do. He won't let him coach. And I agree with what he said now. He said, Skip, the thing is with special teams, having been a special teams player, is that teams do not spend the emphasis like they do offense and defense.
Okay.
But in a game like this, and in most games, Skip, even if you score a touchdown, what do you have to do? You have to come out and kick the PAT. That's special teams.
Sure.
You got to kick off. That's special teams. If you hold them on 3rd down, you got to receive the punt. You're going to have to punt. So special teams is going to play a bigger part than what people put the emphasis on in practice.
Yeah.
Coach Belichick.
Well, Jimmy Johnson always told me it's exactly 1/3 of the equation.
Exactly.
1/3 offense, 1/3 defense, 1/3 special.
And in a game of this magnitude, you say, you know what? If we play this thing close to the vest, we don't turn it over, they don't turn it over. How can we steal field position? And Coach Belichick was smart enough to know. Now, on one of them, I can't even pronounce his last name, but 49 fooled him, Skip. He came up and pretended like he was going to catch it and then pulls his hands away. Tony Pollard like, what the hell are you doing?
I remember that.
I don't know what he was doing there in the first place.
But Skip,
Wally,
in a situation like that, because it ended up winning us a game, AFC Championship game, Skip, we kicked off against the Jets. The ball hung up in the wind, and they let it hit the dirt, and we dove on it, and the next thing you know, we go on to score like 21 straight points. And they kick it into the wind. He doesn't have that kind of leg. You actually think, against the wind, Skip, the wind's blowing 10, 15 miles an hour. Do you actually think that guy has that kind of leg? Put it on the 10, get your feet on the 10, because it's easier to come up than go back. So you can come up 10 yards. But you in the end zone and you got to try to run up 20 yards?
Especially after the first one, but it happened 3 times, and all 3 were near disasters. So they were lucky that they survived.
Who's the special team coach? Jason Garrett, homeboy? Because he don't know what the hell he's doing. He should have told him.
Yeah, but that's on Jason Garrett in the end. That's where you're watching, you're overseeing, you say, hey, stop. You up here. That's from you. It's the head coach.
That's the special. I don't like it. Could have happened. I mean, but I can't remember Mike telling the special teams guys to do anything. He's like, okay, we need to stop. Let's pin them down, something like that. But to where to stand and where to field the ball, that's understood. Okay, you kick the ball one time into the wind, and it lands at the 15. Why the hell am I going to go back to the goal line, Skip?
Okay.
I'm going to come up to like the 10 or the 15-yard line so I can field it, because at worst case scenario, Skip, what can I do? I can fair catch a kickoff.
You can.
So now you get the ball. If it hangs up there, they can't do anything to you. The worst thing you can let happen, Skip, is let that ball in wet, windy conditions hit the ground. That ball going everywhere. And so now what you could have got the ball at the 20, 25, you're getting the ball at the 10-yard line. Now try going the distance, 90, 85, 90 yards.
That's what kept happening. That's what kept happening.
And Coach Belichick knows that.
So what was Jerry's bottom line takeaway? Our roster is better than they're playing. So that's the shot at the coaching staff. Well, what does he think he's responsible for, putting the roster together? Right. So he's saying, I did my part. Now my coaches got to do their part.
But like you said, Skip Bayless, now you said the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, they get to call the plays, but the head coach gets to say, run or pass. He can say, okay, bring the blitz or play coverage. If I'm the owner, what do I get to say?
Well, I know what he said once upon a time back in 1990 to Vanity Fair magazine. I could coach the you-know-what out of this team. He said that.
Yeah.
Oh, he believes
the
it.
great Frank DeFord. That's a quote-unquote, I could coach the you-know-what. And he probably still believes he could coach the you-know-what.
But here's the thing, Skip. He gets to get all the credit when things go well, but when you coach, when things go bad, who get the blame?
Okay.
The coach.
All right, so remarks like that from on high will serve to send this team north or south. It's either going to detonate the locker room in a good way or a bad way, because you only, as you well know, you got 3 days to get ready. At least you're at home. You don't have to travel.
3 days.
But you better get yourself psychologically and emotionally ready for the Buffalo Bills, because they will come in serious.
Quick
business.
turnaround.
Yeah.
Ed Werder from ESPN is reporting that despite Jerry's, frustration, no changes will be made to the coaching staff.
No, I'm not surprised.
You mean the rest of the year?
Yeah, right now, they're not going to make any changes, which
Oh, no, I don't think
they would, but that's what he's saying this morning. So, but he was pretty upset. Maybe it'll fuel them. Maybe it'll go in a different direction.
He wasn't upset enough not to start meddling. Was he that upset, Skip?
Nope.
Exactly.
Maybe he should coach Thursday. I don't know.
Whatever.
Jerry, he probably would enjoy that.
He would.
Thanksgiving Day.
No mercy.
Carson Wentz struggled all game against the Seahawks. The Eagles QB had over 250 yards through the air and a touchdown, but Wentz also threw 2 picks and coughed the ball up 2 other times. The 4 total turnovers is a career worst for Wentz, and the Eagles are now 5-6, but remain 1 game behind the Cowboys in the division. So, Shannon, how much faith do you have in the Eagles winning the NFC East?
Well, I'm still confident because the Cowboys is what's in first place. And you already know how they do things, Skip Bayless.
How do they do? They win the division?
They don't win nothing. They haven't won anything.
2 of the last 3 years.
They should have won this division. This division should have already been over if they were what you said they were. If Dak is what you said he is.
Yep.
But they're not. So I feel very confident that they can still win this division. Now, again, Wentz, you called him bounce it to it, skip it to him. He was doing exactly what
Or
you
give
said.
it to him.
Yeah, he was definitely giving it to him yesterday, Skip. He didn't play well. And the interceptions are inexcusable because he's trying to fit balls in where there's no one. I mean, the defender is between him and his receiver, and he's still trying to make those throws. And Skip, I'm afraid that he's losing confidence because we can talk about who's not there. D-Jack was inactive, Alshon was inactive, Aguilar was inactive, Jordan Howard was inactive. But the guys that
So was Jadeveon Clowney, but go ahead.
No, but I'm saying from his point of view.
I got it.
The guys that were there, when they were open, he was throwing the ball. I mean, he had the running back that was wide open for a touchdown.
Can we see that? I want to see that. It's on the first drive. It's what turned into a field goal drive. And
he threw
Miles
it up
Sanders.
he threw it up in the stands. I'm like,
what are you doing, Carson? Wait, that missed by 10 yards.
That was weird.
What are you doing?
I'm like,
What?
what is that?
I don't know. That sort of set the tone for the rest of the day.
Yes.
Tough start.
Okay.
And so I don't particularly care about who wasn't there. Sure, I'm sure he would have loved to have those guys. But the guys that are there, you got to put them in position. And he was not accurate. And a lot of this, and even on the 4th down play, I think it was 4th and 3, the last one to Arthega-Whiteside. Skip, his footwork is terrible. Accuracy is tied to footwork. You watch his footwork, just watch it. And that's what I did. I wanted to make sure because if your footwork is not impeccable in these type conditions, you get really exposed and you see what happens. You start spraying the ball all over the field. And because his footwork is atrocious, this is what happened. But because this is the Cowboy that has the lead, and they're not out of the woodwork because this division should have been over a long, long time ago. But because this is the Cowboys, they still have a chance. All they got to do, I believe they win out. Win out, but they still got to hope the Cowboys win too because the Cowboy has the better conference record. Because if they win out, they'll have 1 loss in the division to Dallas, and if Dallas loses to them, they'll have 1 loss in the division, but it comes back, not comes to conference, and Dallas has a better conference. So they need to lose 2 games in order for the Eagles to catch up. So I'm confident they can do that.
I'm going to give you this. The Eagles have what most people rate as the easiest closing schedule in all the NFL. It goes at Miami,
Dub.
New York Giants,
Dub.
at Washington,
Dub.
Yikes.
Twice.
Dwayne Haskins, what's he doing?
Taking
you got to take a selfie?
Up, what are you
guys,
doing, Dwayne?
that was so
And he was really
bad.
shaky. I know he had 2 field goal drives, and the second one finally won the game, but that's just Wrong.
I mean,
wrong.
Hold on, you supposed to be taking a snap, right? Victory formation.
He's taking a snap, all right.
Oh, my bad.
Snap that camera, right? With fans at the stand.
Really, Skip?
What?
Let you know where it's at. As I told you, that's what social media do for you.
That's at Washington. Then here come the Cowboys. And that'll be the be-all, end-all.
Yeah,
they have to finish at Danny Dimes, and you don't know, maybe he'd light them up that game.
Oh, that's what you hope had that. Yeah, I wanted to. Can I go ahead and get like? I want to put like 20 cases on there. I want to go all or nothing.
Shannon,
I want to skip. I'm down 42, but I need 20.
Three.
No,
43. You lost one yesterday.
These big bets.
Back to 43.
I'm down 43 cases. I need at least 20.
Nope, I got 5 on it. That's
10,
what we bet before.
10,
no, I'm not going to
10.
do it.
Skip.
Well, you got the easiest closing schedule in football.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about us against you.
Yeah, I got it. But you got the easy. It's cakewalk for you.
Y'all still got Washington too. He might be taking. He might be taking a picture with Dak on the field. Who knows?
He might be. All I know is that once and for all, it has been proven Dak Prescott is better than Carson Wentz.
Oh, really?
He has been. He will be.
You feel comfortable saying that after yesterday?
I definitely do.
Oh.
And the point is, the Carson Wentz I'm seeing continues to press harder and harder, and he's crumbling right before your very eyes. He is coming apart psychologically for all the points that you made about footwork, and he's trying too hard to fit balls in, and I'm seeing deer in headlights. And I told you going into this season, no quarterback, especially a young quarterback, has more pressure on his shoulder pads than this one because of the guy who came before him who's not there anymore. And I know Nick Foles isn't doing much for Jacksonville, but he did a whole lot for Philadelphia. He'll never have to buy himself a drink again in the city of brotherly love because he's the Super Bowl MVP. He hung 41 on Bill Belichick, and that's all that anybody really cares about and remembers. And all of a sudden, Carson Wentz has become the ultimate turnover machine in the NFL.
He's terrible.
You can't keep coughing it up like that because he coughed up 2 fumbles, but there was a third one that he lost on a sack fumble that got negated by an earlier defensive holding call.
Right.
So it could have been easily 5.
He's real careless with the football in the pocket.
I don't get it. He's trying too hard to make the play, and he can't seem to find anybody open. And that's why I've always called him Carson, W-I-N-C-E, Wentz, as in ouch. Because you just look up, and it's like clockwork. He's going to turn it over.
Well, your guy didn't do too much better. R-E-I-G-N.
Rain?
Yeah.
Dakota Rain?
Yeah.
I had to think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, how was he yesterday? In the elements. He's supposed to be one of the elements.
He was R-A-I-N yesterday, right? That's all he was. He was Rain Dakota.
But look, even that being said, Skip, you would have thought that the Cowboys could have already buried the Eagles by now had they taken care of their business. But because they haven't, the Eagles still like, oh, yes, we haven't played well, but we're only a game behind.
Yeah, but you didn't take care of yours either. You lost to Detroit at home.
Yeah,
how about that? You lost at Atlanta.
They didn't lose to the Jets. You lost to the Jets.
Well, I got it. I just told you. It feels like somebody's going to finish 8-8 and win this division.
Well, it's probably going to be us.
Yeah.
No, we're going to be 9. No, we're going to be. Hold on. We got 5 games left. We can be 10-6.
Well, I'm going to give you this also. Your Eagles defense has come back together, and the front 7 is fierce. And they put it on Russell Wilson.
What about that back 4?
Well, it's getting better. It's getting healthier and better.
Skip, you do know DK Metcalf dropped the touchdown.
He did.
And he dropped another throw up the sideline.
I agree. He did.
Now, Russell did miss one. He missed the tight end, Hollister, wide open in the end zone. He overshot him.
Russell Wilson got sacked 6 times yesterday. And because he barely threw for 200 yards, and remember, 38 of them came on a flea flicker. Remember that? So he didn't throw the ball very well. They ran the heck out of it because Rashad Penny came out of nowhere, out of the doghouse, I guess, and he had 14 carries for 129 yards. But other than that, they didn't muster much offense. And his QBR, Russell Wilson's, was terrible. It was 16.
But guess who he in front of Dak, ain't he?
Russell Wilson is just barely ahead of him.
I don't know about that, just barely.
Is he just barely? I think he's just barely.
But what
Dak is 3rd now.
Can I interest you?
Yeah. In fact, I think he's behind Dak.
Who number 1?
Yeah, my homeboy. He was the only one who didn't screw up yesterday because he didn't play.
My homeboy's back where he should be, which I told you he would be.
So he backed into it is what he did.
Can I interest you in 24-3? 24 tubs, 3 picks. And he's unbeaten on the road. I mean, he hadn't lost the game on the road. Nobody can see him.
It's pretty good.
He's the first quarter. Skip a historical. He loved historical perspective. Did you know Russell Wilson is the first guy to have a winning record his first 8 seasons in the NFL in 100-year history? That NFL always flashes that 100. No other quarterback can boast what he can.
But the first, 5 years, he had the Legion of Boom. That'll help.
Don't do that.
Well,
Don't do it.
I didn't do it. They did it.
Well, you didn't do it. People didn't say that about Terry Bradshaw when he had Joe Green, Mel Blount,
I think they did. I think they did.
But
I don't think he didn't get nearly enough credit. He won 4 Super Bowls.
I know, and that's why.
Okay.
Because they say all these great players.
Well, then it was like Lynn Swann, John Stallworth.
Franco.
Franco.
Mike Webster. They had a great team. But we talk about Russ.
Yeah.
That's the very guy, Russell Wilson, the guy that you said you would take Dak Prescott over. But that's not what we're talking about right now.
I think he slipped in the MVP race.
I don't think he slipped at all.
I think he slipped.
I think he slipped. He slipped.
Barely had 200 yards. Woo.
Hold on.
Your guy, 6 sacks?
Your guy had 212 yards and caught an L.
Okay, it wasn't raining in Philadelphia.
It was windy.
It was not windy.
Yes, you know what?
They asked Pam Oliver down on the field early in the game, is it windy down there, Pam? Not really. Maybe there's a little gust in there, but she said it wasn't really windy.
So what? It wasn't a Category 5.
No.
Okay.
It wasn't windy. It was windy last Sunday when Brady was there.
Oh, so that was...
It was blowing like, they said it was like 40 miles an hour.
Doesn't mind the conditions.
You know what? But all I'm saying is that because of the Cowboys, the Eagles should already been done. Guys should already be scheduling tea times and going to Tahiti and all that other place. Because they're the Cowboys, that's why the Eagles say, we 1 game back. I tell you what, this is what we're going to do. We're going to win 1 game at a time, which I believe will be 5 in a row, and then we'll sit back and see what the Cowboys do.
We're going to win 1 game at a time, starting with Buffalo, and then 1 game at Chicago, and then 1 game against the Rams, then 1 game at Philly, then 1 game against Dwayne Haskins, and we'll be good.
Well, all I know is this. Thurman Thomas going to give the pep talk. Thurman, get him right up there. Let's go, Buffalo.
Really?
A little bit softer now.
I think Frank Gore could give him a pep talk because he's.
Oh, man, Frank Gore.
Hey, that was all time.
Can you believe that?
Yep.
Wow.
Good interview.
Yep.
No mercy.
Start your Thanksgiving with us on Thursday morning. We will preview the Cowboys' annual Thanksgiving game, plus all the other NFL games that day. It's going to be fun. Catch us Thanksgiving morning at 9:30 Eastern. Guys, where else would I want to be? It's going to be a good week. And on Thanksgiving Day, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys will be looking to bounce back from their 13-9 loss to the Patriots. Dak was held to a season-low 212 passing yards, and his 3-game streak of throwing for 3 touchdowns was snapped as the Cowboys were kept out of the end zone the whole game. So we're now joined by Fox NFL analyst Michael Vick. Good morning.
Good morning.
Enjoyed watching you yesterday. But Shannon, I'm going to start with you on this one.
Here we go.
You know, recently, I think he gave him an A++.
A++.
2+.
A lot of pluses.
2 of them.
But after what you said yesterday, what letter grade are you going with?
He about to get a grade so low, he going to need a crane to pull it up. Yeah. F++.
Well, at least that's better than F.
No, F.
Oh, like F minus.
F is just F. There's no plus,
No,
minus,
okay, yeah.
just fail.
Okay, well, I'm giving him 3 Fs. no pluses, no minus, just 3 Fs.
You're a tough
because
grader.
Skip Bayless, hold on, your defense goes to New England, where Tom Brady has lost 18 games in a 19-year career. And you hold him to 13 points. Okay, look, guys, we're going to go in there. We're going to hold Tom Brady to 13 points. What you got for? Oh, we got this game in the bag. You give me 9 points? You give me 3 field goals? If Dak Prescott is average, that's all we need him to be is average. Hey, Skip, can he give us, his QBR, Skip say his QBR is like 82. Can he give us 41? If he give us 41, we win the game. Couldn't even give us that. Couldn't give us that. The guy that's leading in QBR, yards per attempt, passing, he's the MVP. Mike, I read so many articles. I mean, you think I'm a law clerk. I got all these articles. Dak is the guy now. The antiquated, the Zeke is running this team is done with. Nobody, Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach, Tony Romo, nobody is doing what Dak's doing, yada, yada, yada. I'm just reading. I'm like, wow. Well, Dak really doing it. Zeke, I'm sorry, Zeke. They might cut you after the season. And this is what I got. This is what I got. He put that on tape. We sent our A-team. They didn't get the B team. They got Troy.
Oh, yeah.
They got Joe Bob. Aaron Andrews is there. They said our finest.
The A-team.
And this is what we got? Now, this game is going to do a huge rating. Probably 30 million. Probably the most watched game on football in the outside of the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl in 25 years. And this is what he put on my TV. This is what I had to watch. A guy that go out there that you tell me, oh, he should be in the MVP. In that, after the defense gave Brady 13 points, Skip. That's what that defense gave up. 13. And they wouldn't have gave up that, but the block punt on the 12-yard line, Skip. And all you can give me is field goals. Now, that's twice that you've gone on the road against very good teams that's going to be in the playoffs. And all I need you to give me is 14. You gave me 10 in one game against the Saints, and you gave me 9 yesterday. Now, I'm tired of you beating these bad teams and thinking you're good. You see what happens, Skip? You know, the thing is now, you know, I can cook. Does it taste good? Well, it tastes good to your taste buds. You see what the Cowboys are doing? They're beating bad teams and fooling people like you. They're making them think they look good. But when they run up against teams that's going to be in the playoffs, how they looking? Against Green Bay, against the Saints, against New England. Every team that's going to be in the playoffs, they call L's.
Okay, so I want to get this clear. What is it? Just a plain old F?
It's 3 of them.
3 F.
3 of them.
Okay, well, what does that mean? 3 Fs, like it's below an F?
Yes.
Like it's like a
Like,
P
in case
or
you're wondering,
like
it's actually F.
Yes.
4 times.
I told you, he's going to need a crane to pull it up. So in other words, he's going to have to throw for 400 over the next 3 games and 5 touchdowns per game to get that up to a C.
I've heard enough of you. I want to hear from Michael Vick because we have not heard from Michael on Dak Prescott this whole year.
To Dak's defense.
Thank you.
The inclement weather. It's tough to throw the football in those conditions.
How did you do in those kind of conditions?
I didn't do well.
Okay.
Now, I will say this, and the reason why I give Dak a B-.
Well.
Go ahead, take the card.
Oh!
I know it don't mean anything. And after your turn up right there, which made a lot of sense, I still got to come to Dak's defense. But I will say this. When you're playing a defense that plays man-to-man coverage, a majority of the game, and you have some type of running ability, that running ability has to show up.
Totally agree.
The grade could have been lower.
Yep.
I'm going to come to his defense. That running ability that you have, you take advantage of those guys when they turn their back to you on defense. And that could have helped that game in so many ways. Now, I thought Dak played winning football. You know, the defense kept him in the game was close. But you recognize if it's a spy on that defense. If not, then when guys are covered, instead of trying to force balls in there, you pull it down and run. That could be the difference between y'all winning the game. And that's not being done enough. I think teams are going to continue to challenge them that way. If they see that Dak is going to try to force balls into tight coverage and try to make the miraculous throws, he can do it. We've seen it before. But he has to take advantage of his abilities, his God-given abilities, in order to be a game changer. That's what we need from Dak.
He's not that.
Game changer. So.
Because, Skip, you told me Pro Football Focus had Dak Prescott rated #1 on throws to first read. So what did Coach Belichick do? Take away the first read.
He did.
Go to second and third. Yeah. And what did he do? If you the guy.
But just in those type of conditions, that needs to be the first thing in your mind.
Well,
I would have been giving me an A. You would have gave me an A+.
Was Tom Brady in a dome?
Nah.
Okay. He found a way to get it done. Skip, at my restaurant, you come, you get a dub or you get an L. You get a win or you get a loss. That's all you get at my restaurant. I took water off the menu. I took napkins.
You took water?
Because I want you to be messy. I want you to be messy when you eat this L. Oh, this child of L that Dak Prescott and the rest of the Cowboys got.
Sounds like you got shut down by health services.
No water. What kind of restaurant is this?
Yeah, I don't know. So, Jenny Taft, just to prove this, I know this sheet's messier than the weather was up there, but what is that right there? What's
a little B-.
Thank you. I did B- like the great Michael Vick.
It's a good sign.
Because he deserved a B-
For what?
with the condition.
Oh, my goodness.
You have to grade on some kind of a curve because what stopped Tom Brady, what helped the Dallas defense was the rain and the wind and the plummeting temperatures into the mid-30s. You can't get worse than those conditions because
and then playing against the #1 defense.
It's a driving rain game long. It didn't just start in the third quarter. It started before kickoff.
Consistent.
And the temperatures dropped all the way to around 35-ish. So it wasn't quite freezing. So it's still wet. You know, it's still precip, like it's not turned to snow yet or ice. It's coming down rain, and it's coming in sheets because it's blowing sideways. It's gusts up to 30 miles an hour. It's just impossible. I'm not going to get the soundbite again on Troy Aikman. I'll just tell you, I covered Troy Aikman. He's in the Hall of Fame. He despised having to throw a wet football. He just said, I'm out, man. I just can't do it. It gets heavy. Your grip slips. You lose. Like Troy prided himself on his accuracy, deadly accurate, and all of a sudden you can't throw it straight.
I sure wish the coaches I had, when it was raining and it was cold and I dropped
quarterback.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. I sure wish when I was playing and it was cold, it was windy, and it was raining, and I dropped the pass, I wish they would have said, I know the conditions out here is less than perfect. They say, catch the ball, Sharpe.
That's what I said to Jason Witten yesterday when he dropped 2 right in his hands.
Same.
I had the Cowboys for 5 more drops. They came in tied for 3rd in the NFL in drops, and they dropped 5.
How many more bad throws you had to Dak down for?
Listen, it's so hard to throw the football in conditions like that. Like, you're a Hall of Fame tight end.
Imagine trying to catch
Catching the ball was
trying to catch it.
Even more difficult. But to hit a guy on a 10-yard crossing route with a guy on his back.
Here's the other condition
in the rain,
got
it's not
strapped
easy.
with. He got strapped with the fact that Stephon Gilmore went nose-to-nose with the receiver who came in graded by Pro Football Focus #1 in the whole league. And Stephon Gilmore said, no, you can't have him the whole game. And it's just me. And I told you on Friday, you said, they ought to put Stephon on Gallup and they'll double Amari. Remember you said that? And I said, no, they won't. They'll just put him on Amari and say, you can't have him. He mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically took him out of the game. He shrank. He came up soft because he's got a soft streak in him. And at one point, he got so frustrated, he took himself out of the game and went and stood on the sideline.
I wasn't going to say that.
Yeah, just stayed on the sidelines. Like, I don't know, I just can't play.
Did you just call Amari soft?
Yep, I did, because there's a reason that John Gruden gave him away.
Hold on.
Got a first for him, but he was done with it.
If your guy's what you said he is, if you take away 1, I got 2 and 3, you got Michael Gallup. You say Michael Gallup is a great receiver.
Okay,
you say Randall Cobb.
Okay, but think of the psychological shock. This man can appreciate it. If you go into the game thinking, I'm going to get the ball to Amari, to 19, and for 3 quarters, you're just like trying to force your first look, first read, and they're really good. They can rush the passer, and they can cover better than anybody in the league can cover with their back 7. They're everywhere. It looks like they're 14 guys.
So what did I tell you? So in other words, Dak numbers is all about Amari. No Amari, no Dak.
Well, I told you he changed life. He changed life.
He helps Dak. He's been a better quarterback.
So how much of that money he going to give Amari?
Okay, so what happened in the 4th quarter with little to no Amari, because it was mostly nothing.
Nothing.
Dak Prescott in the 4th quarter threw for 110 yards passing. That is really good. Do the math on that. 100 times 4 quarters. Ooh, that'd be a whole lot of yards.
But you see what's happening? We saw this again against Green Bay, and we saw this again against Minnesota. What we're starting to see that when the game is nip and tuck, when we need Dak to be Dak Prescott to be what you said he is, he can't be that. But when the game gets out of hand, he's throwing a lot empty calories. We call those empty calories.
Well, these were not empty calories.
Yes, they were.
They were pressing. They were coming back.
Pre-game, Dak should have determined how he was going to play. How he was going to play this game.
You got to figure out you need a glove.
Yeah. No. You don't figure that in the pregame. You figure that out in the. Hold on. You start throwing with the glove during the week because you know how it's going to be.
Game with a plan.
Thank you.
He didn't have a plan.
Thank you.
He didn't have a plan for conditions.
And you can't change horses in midstream and say, you know what? I think I'm going to try the glove.
Yeah.
It's just wrong. But he finally started with the win in the 4th quarter to really figure this out.
Well, Mike Shanahan would come up there, our head coach in Denver, and he would have Doug West. Doug would say the weather's going to be. He'd have the equipment guy, Doug West. Right. Okay, the weather in Buffalo.
Yeah, the glove.
The weather is going to be this type of way. So make sure you get with Doug to check what kind of shoes you're going to have.
Sure.
So Dak goes up there. He know he plays in a dome. Right. And you go up there in these kind of conditions with no glove.
Right.
Be Michael Jackson.
And remember, he had played 1 rain game in 2017 at Washington.
They called L.
It wasn't. No, they won. They won that game. That was a bad year, but they won that game.
I thought that was the one they called that L in.
No, they won at Washington. But the point was, it poured rain in didn't start until the second half, and he was a disaster in the second half, but Zeke ran wild because he's a good mutter.
And that's my point.
All right.
If you run with Zeke is how you win the game.
Okay, but in the end, Dak got hot, and a tripping penalty derailed them, and it was a complete phantom call, but it was still 4th and 11. And I got to see this play one more time because it's to 19, and it's the one ball. You got to catch this. Oh! It's not that hard to catch. I want to see it. This is one where you're set up where you just might see. This is the big late throw to him.
I want to see it, too.
You got to catch this. This is a good throw. You got to catch it.
Yeah, you got to pull that in.
Whoa!
Got to pull that in.
Mike B,
got to pull that in.
Hold on. Now, you just said how hard it is to throw. And I just told you say it's even, and I say, what about me catching it? He said it's even harder. Now, which is it?
Well, you said you got to catch
that.
Well, I need Dak to throw the ball. I need Dak automatic completion.
Once he switched to double gloves, he was okay.
Let me ask you a question. Before they had direct deposit, and you got one of them old big old fat chicks at the Falcons, but it's raining, it's sleeting, it's snowing, you going to pick it up, or you say, nah, I can't go, the weather too bad?
I'm going to pick it up.
Okay, then. Deliver me. I need this, Dak. Dak, Skip Bayless to hit me on my head. I go home, I put ice on my head, I got a headache. I call my sister and say, what's wrong? I say, Skip beat me over the head with how great Dak is. He the best quarterback. He number one in QBR. I said, listen, my head hurt. And now I get this here. And y'all get that man a B for that performance?
B minus.
For that performance.
B minus.
A B. The only B y'all should have gave him, and you should have had UM after. That's the only thing the B should have been in that. You know it, Skip
So let
Bayless.
me get this straight. Shannon Sharpe just went from giving Dak Prescott an A++ against Detroit, which lost to Washington yesterday.
Yep.
A++ just last Sunday against Detroit, to FFF, a triple F at New England in those conditions against the best defense in pro football.
Let this sink in for a second. That defense gave up 27 points to Jeff Driscoll. And they held Tom Brady with 6 Super Bowls.
They didn't hold him. The wind held him. The rain held him. The temperature held him.
Regardless, at the end of the day, Dak needs to use his running ability when he recognizes man coverage more, and we'll give him a better grade.
Hey, Skip.
He got to do whatever it takes to win games.
You remember when Tom Brady hung 45 on the Indianapolis Colts in the AFC Championship game when it was raining and it was snowing, and you talked about that was the Deflategate. You remember that game, Skip? He had better numbers when it started got worse in the second half than he did with the undeflated football.
It was not raining.
Yes, it was, Skip.
It was not.
It's like sleeting.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Raining.
It was tough.
It wasn't a slick ball.
It was cold. No, Skip, we don't do excuses. We did away with excuses.
Well, Tom Brady just might be the best bad weather
And
quarterback
Tom Brady
there.
knows it so well. That is his element, right?
No mercy.
Tom Brady pulled out another win yesterday in cold and rainy conditions. Brady was held to under 200 passing yards, but did have the game's only touchdown on a pass to rookie N'Keal Harry. With the win, the Patriots are now 10-1 and remain the top seed in the AFC. So Michael Vick still with us. Michael, I liked that you gave Dak a B-, but this is about Tom Brady here, and I'd like to know your letter grade on his performance.
I'm gonna give Tom a strong B+. You know, the fact that he's 42 years old and playing in those type of conditions, it's cold, it's raining, and how many times have we heard him reiterate that he's a machine in cold weather and then goes out and prove it? Lack of weapons, don't have his top guys on the field, a bunch of guys hurt, injuries everywhere, and he still finds a way to get it done. Tom comes into the game with a mindset. He has a plan on how he's going to annihilate the defense, how he's going to beat the defense. And to be able to do it at 42 years old, his body has to feel different. Different than Dak Prescott at the age of, 25, 26.
Gotta feel different.
And then you do everything right.
Got beat by Dad.
To win the football game.
Man,
and the reason he gets to be
Dak Prescott's dad.
The W is everything. And, what can I say? Tom Brady, he just continues to show us why he's the greatest quarterback of all time. And to be able to go out there in that type of weather and find a way to win. Whatever it took, he did it.
I don't even need to speak in this topic.
You're good?
Because it's over, right?
I gave him a C.
What's left?
I gave him a C because he did win the ball game. I think the thing is with Tom is Tom understands the game, and he feels out early on what type of game it's going to take from him to win the game. I look at Tom Brady like a guy that's a professional test taker. And he realized that I'm only going to get graded on the answers that I answer. I don't need to answer all 1,000, Skip. I just need, like the SAT. Let me answer the ones that I need to and get those right. So Tom Brady's not out there trying to throw the ball all over the field. He's like, you know what? This is going to be a low-scoring game. A mistake will be very, very costly.
That's a fact.
And he says, you know what? I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
I'm going to take these dump downs. I mean, he doesn't put the ball in harm's way. I don't think there was ever a chance that the Cowboys could have got an interception. He made the one throw down the field, really, Skip, to N'Keal Harry, which was 10-yard touchdown. And really, that was all they needed. He understands how to manage and methodically go about his business without trying to be impressive, not overly doing too much. And he does not let the elements. He does not use that as an excuse.
Never.
Like we're starting to hear a lot of people use that as an excuse. At the end of the day, all I need to know, did you get the win or did you get the L? And Tom Brady came out there with a win. But, I mean, you look at his numbers. I mean, he was off on 20 throws. He's like, you know what, hey, he faced relentless pressure, but it started to wane down, started to dissipate. And I think it kind of wore him down at the end because the Cowboys still had 2 timeouts and they could have gotten the ball back. But in 2 runs, Sonny Michel ended the ball game. And I thought that was because Tom Brady did a great job of passing the ball. But you have to understand what you're against. See, Skip, they don't beat themselves. I watched a situation, and I think it's Dion Lewis. I think Lewis. I forget what's the defense.
James what?
No, Lewis for the Cowboys. The second defender.
Jordan
Lewis. Skip, they got bracketed. Now he has inside coverage.
27.
Yes. He's playing 27. He got Woods over the top. All he must do, because he has inside help, is stay on his upfield shoulder. Edelman comes up, wiggles him to the
play. I know it.
Wiggles
it's a big throw.
Wiggles him to the post and gets to the 7 route. Dude, I don't care. Woods, that's you.
I know. Yeah. You got to have tighter. That's where you play bracket coverage, where you're.
They're playing 20. Look, if they're playing 22 man, you jump inside, and so who cares? Yeah. And then you know the guy has to be over the top. Yeah. But you can't do that. You can't have outside leverage. The guy gives you a nod to the middle. You jump the middle, and then he runs the 7 route. Just run to the upfield shoulder.
It sounds like you just made a case for a B+, and you gave him a C.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Skip. It's not Tom Brady's fault. You guys don't know your responsibility. I guarantee you, when Coach Belichick defense play and they know they got upfield shoulder, they don't care about no nods to the post. They run to that upfield shoulder.
They take care of their responsibility?
That's it.
Well, I'm going to be objective about a quarterback I have loved from the start of his career, and I'm going to give him a B for yesterday, because degree of difficulty was off the charts once again for Tom Brady, because not only did he not have Gronk and AB and Josh Gordon, but he's already lost Sanu to injury, and now he's lost Philip Dorsett to injury. It's just impossibly hard. It's really Edelman or bust. And Julian Edelman is really tough. He's tough mentally, he's tough physically, he's talking trash to everybody who tries to tackle him, and he just fuels himself by talking to everybody. He's talking to Jalen Smith all day. They're getting into it, and Jalen Smith's not even a trash talker. He's a good guy. But the point is, that's really all you have. And yet, you had one N'Keal Harry sighting the whole day. He caught one ball the whole day. This is their first-round pick, their rookie out of Arizona State.
Yep.
Arizona State. Way to go, Herman Edwards. Big win the other night. Big win over Oregon. Way to go, Herm. But the point was, that was a really big-time throw from Tom Brady. And they capitalized on the block punt. And he threw a strike a little high and outside, but it was right where N'Keal Harry could just turn and snatch it. And that's a throw. That's
back shoulder throw.
It is a good back shoulder, and it's really a game-winning throw, because as it turned out, that was it, man.
It's a game.
That's it, right? That's the only touchdown. So in the end, my quarterback didn't throw a touchdown pass and did throw one interception, trying to force it off a bobbled shotgun snap to 19 to Amari Cooper, and you know who's picked it off.
Well, he was late with the ball. He put out in front of it. Gilmore couldn't have got it.
He was late to find him because the ball's tipped up over his head, and you know how if you lose track of somebody.
And those lights and stuff.
Well, don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, the snap's high.
My coach just say, son, don't you make a situation worse. I mean, he already run the...
You could argue you should have just eaten that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Or throw it out of bounds, Skip. Okay. You don't exacerbate a situation.
You could have, but he made one mistake, and Tom Brady made no mistakes and one touchdown pass. And that's really the football game, right?
Yeah, Skip, it's kind of like you're in a relationship. You don't come home late and then start an argument. You already came home late. Why are you going to exacerbate a situation by starting an argument? You already behind the 8 ball, Skip, because the ball got bobbled. Why would you exacerbate a situation by trying to throw it late over the middle?
And the Dallas defense is one of the best in the league, too. And then you got Tom Brady under heavy duress.
Got it.
Still hanging in there. Gas hanging all over him. He's still throwing the football.
13.
Did he turn over?
And
sack fumble?
All I need. How many games? Let me ask you a question.
Fight for everything.
How many games you think a team could win if a defense hold them to 13 or fewer? Because that's what they did. That's what they held Tom Brady to 13
or fewer. What are the conditions? You got to know the conditions.
I don't care what conditions.
It's just as hard for the other team to score in the driving range as you.
They scored more than you.
Okay.
And Jerry Jones said that you got more talent. Jerry Jones says I got more talent than that team.
Well,
definitely
I told
recognizable.
You. It looked like to me last night like my team would have won on a dry night.
Your team wouldn't have won on the moon. Your team wouldn't have won in underground. I don't care what the conditions were. Your team not winning.
You know what? You got to give it up for Tom Brady because I loved what the great Troy Aikman did say on Fox. If we could hear this was about 7 minutes left in the second quarter.
What do you say?
Joe Buck asked him about you. You're very impressed with the way Tom has played so far this year. Talking about in the year. If we could hear this, please.
I think he's had no running game. The offensive line has struggled. The receivers, as I've talked about, as everybody knows who follows this team, they got Julian Edelman and James White, and that's kind of now N'Keal Harry, of course, but it's been tough sledding, and he's missed guys. He's not played great, but considering all of that, I think he has been awesome in the way he's been able to manage the game to help them get to 9-1.
Awesome in the way he has.
He hadn't played great. He hadn't played great.
He hadn't played great.
No. But you said he played great. That's what I've been pointing out.
I didn't say great.
I've been pointing out. Come on, talk to me, Troy.
10-1.
That's what I mean.
And you can't be 10-1 without some quarterback play.
Here's my problem. Is because what they say is offensive line is this and no running game. Did they mention the running game against Kansas City in the AFC Championship game when Sonny Michel went bonkers? Did they mention anything about the running game in the Super Bowl? All they say is Tom Brady. But see, now he's struggling. It's the running game, the protection, those wide receivers. He's still those same wide receivers he's been throwing to his whole career. No big names, with the exception of Randy Moss. That's what made him Tom Brady. But now he's struggling.
Question, did Sonny Michel run for 3 third and 10 conversions at Kansas City in overtime?
3 third and 10 conversions.
3 third and 10s? Who does that?
But what about the 200 rush yards he had? What about those 200 rush yards they had as a team?
Yeah.
What did Brady do in the Super Bowl? Yeah. That 26 QBR? Yeah. That no touchdowns and interceptions?
Who were 2 of those third and 10 conversions to at Kansas City in the overtime? Bob Gronkowski.
Is Edelman there? I want to know who's the MVP in the Super Bowl. I just want to know who's the MVP because I know a lot of Super Bowl MVP. Is he still there?
Regardless of what, you have to be mentally tough. And Tom Brady proved that he's different from every other quarterback in the league mentally. To be able to go out and win these games the way he do.
And he loves it. He loves it. He thrives in these moments.
That's what makes it so difficult for dome teams to go into playoff skip on the road on adverse conditions.
That's the truth.
Because Tom, they practice in that. You try to come to Denver, we practice in the snow. We practice in the elements. So we're at an advantage if it comes that time in a playoff game. We're going to have a decided advantage over you.
Most likely it will.
Yeah, I hadn't realized that.
But
really only
if you're that guy, what Skip said he is, Skip, I need the guy to deliver us out of Egypt. I need to deliver us out of harm's way. We was in harm's way yesterday with the element, and I needed
Which guy are you talking about?
Dak.
Oh, Dak.
I needed Dak to deliver us. I needed Dak to deliver us.
You mean Moses?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he was supposed to be. But
Dakota Moses.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of names around here.
He didn't deliver us, Skip, and I'm sorry.
No mercy.
Cowboys and Patriots were battling rainy and windy conditions in Foxborough yesterday in a low-scoring game. Tom Brady had a touchdown and just under 200 yards, while Ezekiel Elliott racked up 86 yards with no touchdowns, and Dak Prescott had just over 200 yards and a pick. And after the game, Jerry Jones expressed some major frustration with his team. Fox NFL analyst James Harrison with us this morning.
Here we go.
You've played in these conditions. You know this place well. James, your biggest takeaway from the Patriots win over the Cowboys?
My biggest takeaway would be, I hate to say it, but I think they need to get a new coach. He has a loser's mentality.
Yep. I hear you and I agree.
You go back to the situation with the special teams, the kickoffs. At what point in time do you not tell your player, hey, move up? It's not going to get all the way there.
Right.
Even the punt where they took, I think it was multiple penalties.
Right.
It was 10 or 15 yards worth of penalties where they actually ended up kicking a field goal and getting points from that. And then the biggest thing for me is after the game, his explanation for doing it, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, you know what, maybe he's thinking, I need 3 points to win anyway, I'm going to kick the 3 here. But when he's asked the question, his explanation is, basically you're saying when my defense get in there and they go down there and give up 3 points, I'm still within 7 points to win this game, to tie this game.
He did it right in the negative.
So
like
the way that you explained that to me lets me know you have a loser's mentality and you're not trying to win.
Yeah.
It's 4th and 7. I haven't been down here that much. Let me go now and get these points. And then, you know what? Let's think about going for 2 to end it right here and now. I think they need to change their head coach and get somebody in there that is not afraid to win.
Well, you don't get a whole lot of debate for that. But for me, I don't blame a whole lot on Jason Garrett because nobody gives them credit when they win. It's always they win in spite of, or this or Dak did something unbelievable.
Goes along for the ride.
Yeah, that's your first. Yeah, he's along for the ride.
Heard that.
But Jerry's been around this game long enough, Skip. Talent doesn't always win you the game. There's a lot of teams. There are a lot of talented teams. Everybody in the NFL is talented. You don't get to this level without being talented. The Cowboys have accumulated a lot of talent. But you tell me that they play like when they take the field, that they play like the best offense, the best defense, the best special teams, they play like the best team on a given Sunday? No. Now, if they play the Dolphins, they're going to mop the floor with the Dolphins. Or Washington, or the Giants, They mop the floor. But when you get a team that's comparable to them, that's well-schooled, well-disciplined, they always lose. But for me, Jerry Jones, if you had it in your mind at the Combine when he first made that statement that he wasn't going to give him a contract extension, Skip, he should have went and got him a new coach. He'd already laid in the groundwork.
He was, I agree.
And he put that out there. And so Jason, he's Jason Garrett. He only knows one way to coach because he's only coached up under this system. And under this system, you stand on the sideline and you clap. Jerry decides who plays when they play. Jerry decides who comes when they come. And so if you're a coach and you're not empowered to do what you were hired to do, which is coach, why do I got to take all the blame when things go bad? But when things go good, you see what Jerry gave him. You see how Dak played. You see how the defense played. He never gets any credit. The man won Coach of the Year, 3 years ago, Skip? Man, he won that because you look at the team that he's got. Nothing about the coaching job he's had. So he's in an unwinnable situation. But with this kind of talent, man, if you take Coach Belichick with this team right here today, they would win 3 or 4 of the next 6, 7 Super Bowls with this same team that Jason Garrett's barely scraping by to make the playoffs.
You could be right unless Jerry Jones undermined Bill Belichick. So, I mean, he might. He might just blow it all up.
Yeah, you might be right.
Okay. So James Harrison knows what I'm talking about because you did spend the end of your final year in this locker room and in this culture. My biggest takeaway from last night's game, when I sat back when it was over, it felt like one team had a winning culture and the other had a losing culture, because it was going to come down to the smallest little plays were going to decide the difference in a 13-9 game. And you know how buttoned up New England is. You know when you walked in that locker room, not that you weren't in a great one with the Steelers, same idea, but this might even be a little step up from the Steelers, where you walked in and you just felt like, this is serious business.
Expectations.
This is as professional as you can get.
It wasn't a feel. Like when you walked in there, like the first practice, I'm thinking, it's the middle of December, we might get some dome time or something. It's like -10 and we're outside. We went into the dome one day, and that's because it was a blizzard and you could not see 5 feet in front of your face. And he was upset about that. Okay. I mean, literally upset.
There you go.
And it toughens you up, especially for the games. We're sitting there, I think we're playing Jacksonville. And I'm sitting on the sideline, and it's like -3 or 4, and I'm just sweating bullets because all week in practice, I ain't had this heated bench. I ain't had these blowers. We out there in the middle of it. We couldn't practice on the field because it was froze. So he went into the turf on the indoor, and we practiced on the game field. That's just what they do, and it's something that actually benefits you when it comes that time. And that's another thing, like the coaching. You have to prepare your players or get your players prepared to play in adverse weather and adverse conditions. You're in Dallas. Give him something to mimic anything. Make the ball
outside,
nasty and wet. Anything.
Wet the ball down.
Do something.
Put it in the freezer, Skip, because Skip, you know what the weather's going to be. So, and that's how Mike was. We were not going. Man, it'd be cold, Skip. It gets windy, it gets cold in Denver. We weren't going to that we weren't going to that dome. Yeah. It's like, what happens if it's like this on Sunday? And we practiced in the dome. Nice temperature, nice 60 degrees, and then we come outside and it's 25 and it's snowing or the wind's blowing. What are you going to do then?
Yeah. And on Fox yesterday during halftime, Rob Gronkowski made the point, probably slightly exaggerated, that Jerry's like, oh, it's cold outside, let's go in the dome. Let's go in the dome, right? Or let's go practice on the yacht, right?
Yeah,
let's go practice. We got a big practice field on the yacht, right?
No, we're
okay.
If you play outside, and that's the advantage that playing outside provides you, Skip, is that your games, the Cowboys, they get turf, they get home games, and you have to practice in the dome. You're not going outside. I don't know if they practice outside, but they should have been outside.
This man was so dedicated. We played the Super Bowl, right? That's a dome.
Yeah.
The week before, we know we're going to a Super Bowl. It's a dome. We're still outside in the cold.
Really?
Not until we got into Minnesota did we get into a dome.
And then my biggest regret and disappointment about this game was what happened to number 19 for the Dallas Cowboys. Amari Cooper, ranked by Pro Football Focus the best overall receiver, graded number 1 going into this game, and Stephon Gilmore took him out of the game. And it's about mental and physical toughness.
He hurt, Skip.
Yeah. What do you think? He's just hurt?
He hurt.
Dak got to get him the ball, too. It was a couple situations where he was open. You got a situation where Dak is consistently inconsistent at times, and he is not throwing the ball on time.
He hadn't been all year.
You throw the ball on time, and you throw it accurately, those balls are caught. That's not an interception. Why would you even, make that or attempt to make that?
Okay, remember the snap is up over his head, and he bobbles it up, and then you lose track of your receivers, and then you got to find him again, and you think, I'm going to sidearm this.
Judgment comes into play.
I know, but I got it. Listen, that guy trailing him on that play, he wasn't trailing him. He was actually in command of that play.
He knew the route.
It's tough to be injured, Skip, and to go out there and you're going to get their best. They're going to put their best cover guy on you. And I've been in that situation in Amari, and man, you just like, man, this would be so much different if I was 100%. I just pray that I could just get you when I was 100%.
Shannon, stop. Nobody's 100% after the first
No, but I'm
week.
saying, there's varying degrees.
No question.
But Amari, Skip, that's not, and we've seen his numbers keep you, it was like 4, and now it was 3, and now it's none. And so they just hoping that they can get through this week where he gets 10 days off.
Yeah.
Can he make it through Buffalo?
Every road game this year, especially when it gets a little colder, Amari disappears. I don't know.
It's not like it's Alabama is not Miami. It does get cold in there. It does get cold in Alabama.
No, I got it.
New England.
No. You got to practice in that.
Yeah.
I came from South Georgia, going to Denver, Colorado, and practicing outside. You get used to that real quick when you practicing in it 5 days, 4 days a week, and then playing games in it. You kind of get used to it. But when Amari, they're practicing on the dome, Skip.
But I agree about Coach Clapp, Jason Garrett, in that he didn't change expressions one time yesterday.
It was cold.
They commit back-to-back penalties on a punt because they get buffaloed because they don't put anybody back. Right. And they're like, what do we do? What do we do? And the clock runs out. And then that unit comes to the sideline, and Coach Clapp's over there. He's just clapping. He's patting guys on the butt. Come on.
But James,
what are you doing?
But James, you and I both have been on punt team. You don't see anybody back. They're telling you they got a punt block. You bring anybody, tighten it down.
Okay.
That's what you do. You tighten it down.
They're all looking at the sideline like, what do we do?
One step. Because they're coming. We can't hold them. Hey, we can't hold them forever. They got more than we can block because they don't have a returner back. Okay. And the punter, which would be a blocker, he's punting the ball. So now you get one step. We're going to tighten it down, one step to get it out of there.
Have you not one time practiced against that kind of formation? One time?
We practice, our special, we practice against some of everything.
You have to, all right?
And who's the guy? You find Matthew Slater.
How do you not block him?
That's the guy you find him. You don't let him get on the edge.
Yes.
You take it right down.
He's arguably the greatest special teams player in the history of this league.
Yes.
Right?
You don't let that guy
go. Not a time that I haven't heard his name called while I was playing.
So. Yep. You don't let the guy get on the edge.
Come on.
If a guy gets on the edge or you on punt, he gonna bend it because he good at it. And you see what he did?
Okay.
Doo-doo. You hear that double thud?
Yes.
No mercy. So the Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott will be hoping for a different outcome than what happened yesterday against the Patriots. Zeke was averaging over 4 yards a carry, but was only handed the ball 6 times in the second half. It was the 3rd game in a row that the All-Pro was held to under 100 yards on the ground. So, Shannon, should the Cowboys have fed Zeke a bit more?
Yeah. They absolutely should, Skip, because he had it going yesterday. And in the inclement weather like it was yesterday, you need a guy like Zeke, Skip, because he's a guy that doesn't, he's not going to slip and slide. He's a heavy runner. And like you said, he plods, so which will serve him very, very well in conditions like this, because you don't have to worry about him getting a ball and all of a sudden his feet from up under. Zeke is coming downhill, and he was feeling it yesterday. He had read those articles that he wasn't the same guy. He's slowing down. Everybody, even in Dallas, when they know what this guy represents.
Talked about it here.
And you say you hadn't been seeing that lately. Well, you saw that early.
I did.
Saw that early. This is the game, Skip, you're supposed to let Zeke bring you home. And he had 15 carries in the first half, and then for some reason, you only give him 6 in the second half. You got to double him up. If Zeke comes out of that game with 30 carries and 125, 130 yards, Skip, I like your chances. But once you got into a situation where you're going to throw in those kind of conditions, and you're not used to throwing and playing in those kind of conditions, the likelihood of you winning that game drastically decreased. So, yes, Zeke, you got to give him the ball. Let him run the ball. Let him show you that he's still the guy that you paid $50 million. And he would earn 45 of it yesterday. Because if I'd had to give him 35, 40 carries, that's what he would got.
So I'm going to give you this. Best I've seen Zeke all year yesterday.
Okay.
I was hard on him last week. I've been hard on him for about a month. Couldn't see him anymore. Where are you? Where's the $50 million guaranteed man? And yesterday, I saw attack mode early. I think his pride did get rubbed a little raw. I saw a little more burst. I saw a little more conviction when he hit the line of scrimmage. I saw a little more desire to move the pile, that he can move like nobody can move it when he is running hot. And I do give you this. He is what I would call a mutter, because I saw it one time. They've had one big rain game, and it was in 2017 at Washington, a game that they did win. But in the second half, in the first half, he had 15 carries for 67. Then they just kept feeding the beast. You know, he was just like, eat, Zeke, eat in the second half. And he had 18 carries for 83 yards just in the second half. So they basically put the game back in his hands and took it out of Dak's hands, because Dak just told him, I can't throw. And he talked after the game. First time he's been in conditions quite like that. And he said the ball got so heavy, I just couldn't control it anymore. So I will give you all of the above. But yesterday, when he did run in the second half, they started to draw a bead on him too, where he had one carry of 10 and 1 for 5, but the other carries were 3, 2, 2, 3. So they started to zero in on Zeke. He wasn't just killing them.
No, but that's okay, Skip, because here's the thing. The game was never out of reach where you needed to just throw. The game was always within a score. So now you let him control it. Now the play action, because if he cracks 1 for 4 or 5, you want some play action. But once you go away from Zeke, they skip. I mean, play action is null and void because they know you're not giving them the ball anymore. So now they just drop back to the areas. Not that they are paying attention anyway. But for me, I think in a situation like that, in this game, because this is the time you want to see Zeke, you know what? I've been waiting for this guy to come out. I want to see I gave him $50 million. Let me see. I need to see why I gave him $50 million. And yesterday was your opportunity, really the first time in a long time, for him to show you why you gave him that kind of money.
Okay, but here's my problem. Even though the final score was 13-9, when it got 10-0 New England early in the second quarter, it felt like it was 40-0 in those conditions. Because it's Tom Brady at Gillette, where if he's leading at halftime, he's 105-1. Lost to Alex Smith on that opening night game.
Crazy stat,
it's a crazy stat. And yet, you feel like you have to throw to come back, because it feels like the deficit is way worse in those conditions. So when Dak finally figured out, I got to put a glove on my hand, he started to get control of the game. He started to just literally get a grip on the game. So he started complete balls in the third quarter, and they knew what was coming in the fourth quarter. It was much easier to throw with the wind. So I don't blame them for going back to Dak, because to me this year he has earned the right to have the game in his hands. as he didn't at the end of the Minnesota game, but he deserved the right to go mano a mano with Tom Brady in the fourth quarter, and he came up big. He threw for 110 yards in the fourth quarter, and it felt like they were going to need every bit of those, and they might have had even more if Amari had hung on to that 4th and 11 throw at the end of the game, which I thought the best receiver in pro football, according to Pro Football Focus, should have caught. So I don't have any problem with going back to Dak because he should have come up bigger. Well, was there not a tripping penalty? Did that not derail the momentum of that last drive?
Zeke said I was eating.
Yeah.
Zeke said I was hungry. Zeke said y'all hadn't been feeding me in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
So I was hungry.
Okay. What did Zeke say in the other trip to the red zone at the end of the first half? What happened when they got it to 1st and 10 at the 14 and Zeke went for 3 yards and suddenly either waved out of the game or maybe they took him out. I don't know. But here came Tony Pollard for 2nd and 7 and 3rd and 7, and they flipped a little safety valve pass to him over the middle. It got quickly broken up. And then they threw a screen pass to Tony Pollard. And I thought those were Zeke plays because the game at that point is 10-0.
Hey,
okay?
Zeke said, I got you down here. Y'all don't value me.
Well, was he protesting? I don't know.
No, he wasn't protesting.
Well, I don't know. He went over and put his coat on.
But Skip.
Really?
Can you start reading these articles? Because
Which articles?
These articles about Dak. And the offense goes through Dak.
About Zeke.
And him the MVP.
Yeah.
Because the Cowboys started reading these articles and put the ball in his hands when he should have put it in the belly of Zeke. Skip, you see what Tom Brady did? You see how many carries Sonny Michel had? Sonny Michel had 20.
For how many?
85 yards.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah.
I don't think that decided the game.
No, but it just goes to show you they running the ball. They ain't gonna let you run. They're not gonna let. It's Tom Brady's team. Tom Brady. No. Bill Belichick says it's my team, and I'm gonna do what's in the best interest of us winning the ball game. Hence the playoffs, where they led the playoffs in rushing, even though they had Tom Brady, Sonny Michel, Burkhead, James White, those guys running the football.
He was still throwing the ball on occasion to Zeke in the fourth quarter.
No,
and he threw it to Zeke on 3rd and 1 for a big first down. And what happened? Travis Frederick was called for tripping.
Okay, Skip.
Can we see it again?
Skip.
I gotta see it.
Do you want to see it again?
One last time.
I don't know if you're going to want to see it again.
Tripping. It's phantom.
Makes you mad.
Yep. That's tripping? Wait. What are you tripping? You put your foot on the ground. You didn't lift your leg. Dante Hightower is trying to split the double team. He gets blocked. Travis Frederick's just trying to shield him away from the quarterback. That is not tripping. That changed the whole football game. That derailed Dak's momentum.
Yeah. Well, it tells me when they called 2 of these in one game, the Patriots had gone to the officials and said, look for this. Because there have been times that I know I'm going to bring, Mike would tell us, and he would say, I'm going to bring this to the, and we get a call.
Yep.
So that's what happens, Skip. I mean, like you said, there have been 7 in how many games? 10 weeks, 16 years, so almost 200 games. And all of a sudden,
190. Yep.
190.
Yep.
And they've called 7 in 190, and they called 2 in one game.
Okay. That's telling, though, that if they had been told, or maybe they saw it.
Well, I guess the Cowboys, what does Jason Garrett tell the coach? What is special team?
I don't know.
Does he say anything?
He's a nice guy. He didn't really ever argue with the referees. He doesn't.
Well, he'll need to argue. He just plant seeds.
When they make a call like that, he just does this.
Skip.
Thank you.
Sometimes you just want
Way to go. That was a good call.
Sometimes you just want to plant the seeds.
Yep.
Keep an eye on this.
I agree.
Keep an eye on that.
Yep.
Because they told them. I don't care what anybody tells you. They told them for them to get two of those calls.
Yep.
And that was egregious because tripping is an intentional act. There was nothing intentional about that.
Thank you. So that derailed the quarterback. And I'm telling you, bottom line to this game and the rest of the year is this team will go as far as its quarterback carries it, not its.
Well, you won't go very far then.
Yep.
You won't get very far.
Okay, we've already dissected.
I got them winning maybe the last 5 in a row.
It's not gonna
You said it earlier on the show.
I did.
You still
You gonna be
that
wrong.
way?
Yep.
Excuse me. You gonna be wrong.
No.
You gonna be wrong.
No mercy.
Well, unfortunately, Amari Cooper had his worst game as a Cowboy in the 13-9 loss to the Patriots. Amari was targeted only 2 times and failed to bring in either one. This is the first time Amari has been held without a catch since joining the Cowboys last season. So, Skip, how do you explain what happened to Amari yesterday?
I want to be clear about this. Amari Cooper is a good guy. He's a fine young man. He's also the biggest reason they lost this game yesterday. The biggest reason. This was just shameful. I could not have been more disappointed in any Cowboy player than I was in him in any game this year because, remember, this was a classic opportunity to rise and shine in the big stage, late day game, live on Fox, coast to coast, against the most physical shutdown corner in all of pro football. It was a great challenge and a great way to reinforce Pro Football Focus grading you as the #1 receiver in all of football. And Amari Cooper shrank. He basically said no mas in the second quarter and went and took himself out of a whole series and let Tavon play for him, Tavon Austin, and stood on the sideline with his coat on. That's just saying, I give up. You have bullied me basically physically and mentally. And this is why John Gruden gave up on Amari Cooper. John Gruden doesn't want his players playing chess during lunch hour in the locker room, and Amari's a really good chess player. And I got no problem with that, but John Gruden did because that's not the physical, mental makeup that he wanted in a blood and guts football player. And Amari, as we know, is more cerebral finesse. He's a route runner.
Yeah.
He's not technician. He's not a Keyshawn Johnson Memorial, throw me the damn ball, right? That's not how he plays.
No.
But every once in a while, Shannon Sharpe had to say, just throw me the damn ball because I don't care. Somebody thinks he's going to lock me down. Well, he's got another think coming because here we go. And in this case, Amari just shrank and quit. So what am I seeing this year? If you put him in climate-controlled Jerry world before, say, 90,000 Cowboy fans reinforcing him with loud love, he is great because he's got 39 catches at home. He's only got 17 on the road. So he's got more than half as few catches on the road. 17 catches on the road. Yeah. He got taken out of the Jets game because he took himself out. And he said he was hurt. I don't know what it is, but he's been knick-knack hurt. He's got a foot, knee, ankle. He's had all kinds of little things since training camp. But this was your moment. This is where you could have lifted this team on your back and said, I can beat him consistently in single cut. This was single the whole day. I didn't see one time he had any help. Yeah. Maybe some over-the-top safety a little bit, but I didn't see it.
I'm sorry. Dak could have helped too. Because there was Dak moment to show, okay, I'm more than just Amari Cooper. Because right now I can make the case without Amari, he's very, very, very average.
I told you that Amari changed life halfway through the year last year.
I mean, Skip, for me, look, you put mano and Gilmore won. It's as simple as that. But I still believe that Amari is nicked up. And I've been through this. 1995, Skip, we played the Chargers. They were in San Diego at the time. And they broke my streak out, a streak of 60 straight games in which I've caught a pass. I was hurt. And I went out there trying to hobble, and they locked me up. Everybody all in my face, locked me up. I told you trash, yada, yada, yada. You know what else? I said, okay. I said, boy, I forgot about fuming. Broke my streak. I could have had me a streak like a Jerry Rice or maybe a Jason Witten type streak. 100-plus games. But I said, you got to come back to Denver. And guess what? O'Shea wasn't hurt. I dropped the $140 on him.
Okay.
I dropped the $140 on him. But Skip, when you hurt...
Time out. Quick point.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott told the Fox team the day before the game that Amari was playing game fast in practice, like it's the best practices he had all year leading up to this game. I'm not going to give you the hurt excuse.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I believe you just saying that. There's no way that guy was playing game speed and looked like that in the game. No way. No way, Skip. You know that.
There's a way, and it's called Stephon Gilmore.
Now stop it. Yep. So you tried to say the man chicken out.
It sure looked like it.
Gilmore punked the man.
He backed down.
No, he didn't.
Yep.
And your guy, what about your guy?
He can be a little soft.
No, what about your guy?
What about
your guy didn't deliver either.
Huh.
Your guy did not deliver either. Your guy got outplayed by a guy old enough to be his daddy.
Oh, well, so does just about every quarterback.
I don't know about everybody. We're not talking about them. Yeah. We're talking about Dak and Tom Brady, old enough to be his dad.
I'm talking about Dak, who was graded by, Pro Football Focus, as best in the league at first read.
Okay, what happened?
What's first read? Covered.
And guess what?
What are you going to do?
And guess what?
I got to look. And by the way, New England can flat rush the passer. They come from everywhere, including Chase Winovich.
I know.
And he ranks down at the bottom in second and third read. So Coach Belichick says, let's make sure we take away that initial. his initial read normally goes Amari. So we took that away.
Okay,
Make him go to Gallup.
If Amari is that guy, you cannot take that away.
I believe.
Can you imagine somebody singling Jerry Rice and saying, we'll take Jerry? Nobody did that.
Dion.
Yeah. Dion did.
Oh.
But here's the point. Troy made reference to this game. It was actually the 94 season championship game at Candlestick when Dallas fell behind 21-0, and Troy had no choice but to throw it to 88.
Yeah.
Covered head up by Dion. And go look at the numbers for that game.
Yeah.
Michael went over 200 yards catching because he was that good. He's that guy. And Dion was that guy too.
Yes.
But boy, you want to talk about mono to mono. It can't be mono to mono if one guy gets zonked. You know, he gets zero.
Well, see, the thing is, Skip, if you're playing with a corner, see, Mari's not physical. See, to beat Stephon Gilmore, you got to be physical. You got to be able to play through contact.
What did Stephon say after the game? I just wanted to put hands on him.
Yeah. Oh, you got to be able to play through that.
Whew.
See, some guys, the bigger receivers like Michael Irvin, he wanted you to play with contact.
Absolutely.
Because he wanted to get close enough to you so he could control you.
Absolutely.
A lot of guys can't play through contact, and then you're able to shut them down. If you can't play through contact against a physical corner, you got no chance of beating them. I totally agree,
and I've told you this before. If I could pick one game that I've covered my career that I would buy a ticket to, it was that championship game, because watching Dion and Michael Irvin go head-to-head for 3.5 quarters, it was special. Yeah. Trust me. This was the opposite of special.
We've tried to hit every angle from this one.
No mercy.
Lamar Jackson will continue his MVP campaign against the Rams tonight. The Ravens QB is coming off a 4-touchdown game last week that came in a blowout win. So, Shannon, how important is tonight to Lamar's MVP campaign?
Well, Skip, it's a nationally televised game, and you have everybody's undivided attention. There are no other games going on, and you play. When you're growing up as a kid, you dreamed on playing on Monday night, Skip, because you had the world's attention. And so he just needs to be Lamar Jackson. Don't worry about what Russell may have done or didn't do. Just do Lamar Jackson, and that should be plenty good enough to captivate the audience again.
Russell Wilson did not have an MVP caliber game at Philly, so the doors cracked open a little farther. This is a huge opportunity for Lamar against the 4th best run defense, Wade Phillips and the Rams, at Rams on Monday night, and I think he will seize this opportunity and literally run with it. He'll throw with it too, but he'll run with it because they are running away with the rushing lead. They're averaging over 200 yards rushing a game. So this is immovable force versus, you know, like this is impossible.
Well, the last time Wade played a quarterback like this was in the Super Bowl with Cam. Now, Cam, I don't know if Cam had the kind of legs that this kid can move like this, but, you know, Wade is going to try. We got to stop the run and force him to throw the football. But he's a better thrower than the football than we thought he would be at this time. But, Skip, if he just do Lamar Jackson-type things, he's going to captivate the audience. They're going to be in awe of what this kid can do.
So they average 203 yards rushing. San Francisco is next at 150, so they're just literally running away with that.
That would definitely be the biggest gap in NFL history.
It would be, So I think he's going to rise and shine and have a big night. I think it's Lamar Jackson night.
Okay, big
Makes to see. I'll be watching.
I'm looking forward to it. That is it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports, one of one.